Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Kinsler.
Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
Baseball certainly can be a funny game. Both the Tigers and Royals scored odd wins yesterday. The Tigers on a walk-off win, and the Royals on a drop fly ball in right field. How about that? Both the Tigers and Royals trying to build on crazy victories yesterday. It is a warm, humid evening in Kansas City as we welcome you. Game one in this four-game series featuring the Tigers and the Kansas City Royals. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pember, Rod Allen. We are glad to have you with us here for Game 1 in this series. The Royals, Rod, come in 2 games out of the race in the Central. The Tigers fighting for their lives right now, but certainly a big series for both teams.
Huge series for the Tigers, however. They're 8 games under 500. These two teams will meet 7 times in the next 10 days. It's imperative for the Tigers. Take it 1 game at a time. They've got to go out and beat a very good pitcher today, but it starts right here tonight. They've got to start playing better on the road.
All right, now J.D. Martinez has heard all the rumors, all the trade rumors. They certainly continue to circulate, but he goes out and gets his business done every single night. He is facing a lefty tonight, and he is feasted against lefties.
He's been balling this year against left-handers since he came off the disabled list in late May. He's been racking up monster numbers against southpaws. Not only is he getting lots of base hits, lots of doubles, home runs as well. He's been killing them. Take a look at his numbers overall against southpaws. The batting average is 500 this year. It doesn't really matter whether it's a hard thrower or a soft tosser. He always gets himself in a really good position to hit. He's always got himself in some really nice, favorable counts. And you would think that a guy that's going through what he's going through right now, all the trade rumors swirling around J.D. Martinez, he just goes about his business in a very workmanlike way and getting it done.
Hey, what do you make of Jason Vargas? This guy's had a terrific year, one of the best in the American League. He certainly has never been a pitcher that has been at the top of the list in the AL, but boy, what a season he has had.
Well, this guy's kind of reinvented himself. Tommy John surgery a year ago. He only made a handful of starts last year. He's been one of the best pitchers in baseball. His fastball tops out at about 83, 84, but that doesn't matter. He's already won 12 games. Look at the ERA, 2.66, 6.262. That is second among American League, and then the base on balls to walks ratio is outstanding as well. Fastball 88, 90. The curveball's been deceptive, but this pitch right here, changeup, has been the pitch that really has vaulted him to one of the best this year in the American League. The changeup, he throws it about 34% of the time, and the right-handers have a very difficult time with that changeup. Tigers hitters today, they're going to have to think about going up the middle, going the opposite way, because they're not going to get a lot of fastballs tonight against Vargas.
All right, game 1 in the series just minutes away. After a short break, we send you to the Call Sam Studios, and John Keating coming up in this one here tonight. Jordan Zimmerman will take them out for the Tigers. He's back on the bump. His first start in the second half. Stay with us. Tigers Royals, game 1 coming up next.
Money encounter comes compliments of J.D. Martinez and his exploits yesterday. A big home run in the win over the Blue Jays. His 40th home run in the 7th inning or later. That is third best in the majors since 2014. And certainly with the looming trade deadline just 2 weeks away, J.D. Martinez has heard all of the trade talk surrounding him. But he says that's not bothering him right now, and the numbers certainly bear that out. However, he does feel for another one of his teammates inside that Tigers clubhouse.
I think it's more intense for a guy like Justin than me right now, you know, for Wilson, just because that's the need. You know, that's the need, that's the market right now. I mean, there's not many teams out there that, you know, need a player like me. They could use a player that can help them, but as far as that need, I mean, I feel like he has it worse right now.
J.D. Martinez, Justin Williams, and the Tigers will try to get the best of Salvador Perez and the Royals over the next 4 games from Kauffman Stadium. We've got first pitch between the Royals and the Tigers coming your way next right here on Fox Sports Detroit. Enjoy the game, everybody.
Bank, a part of Detroit and the community since 1849. Ram, make the most of your summer at the Ram Summer Clearance Event going on now. And by Kroger, with low prices and weekly deals, saving is easy at Kroger. We're back here at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. Game 1 in what will be a 4-game series between these two Central Division opponents, the Tigers and the Kansas City Royals. On a very warm evening tonight in KC. The Tigers starting lineup tonight presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. And for Brad Ausmus this evening, the lineup card looks like this. It'll be Kinsler, Castellanos, and Upton in the top 3 spots. Miggy batting cleanup. J.D. Martinez, the American League's Player of the Week in right field. Victor is the DH. Matuk, Avila, and Iglesias will round it out tonight for the Tigers. Jeff Glover and Associates Realtors presenting tonight's starting pitcher for the Royals, and that is Jason Vargas.
And Vargas, 17 starts this year, 12-3. He made an all-star team for the first time in his career. The 12 wins, that's the most in the American League. His fastball not blazing, about 85, 86, but he's got a great curveball and an exceptional changeup. Let's take a look at the Royals starting defense. It is brought to you by Tim Hortons. They've got a great defense, as a matter of fact. Only 35 errors this season, which is the fewest in the majors. Gordon, Kane, Bonifacio, Moustakas, Escobar, Merrifield, Hosmer, and Salvador Perez. He's won 4 Gold Gloves. He's behind the plate.
Well, the Royals had lost 5 in a row until yesterday when they picked up a win against Texas, and so KC back up to 500 now. They're 2 games behind the Cleveland Indians, with Minnesota sitting in second place. The Tigers right now 6 games back, but they are 41 and 49 on the season. So we're ready to get things rolling now as Ian Kinsler steps in. It'll be Kinsler, Castellanos, and Upton facing Jason Vargas, fresh off the All-Star appearance for the lefty from Apple Valley, California. Clear skies tonight here in KC, but very warm temps in the 90s. Ian batted .237 on the year with 9 home runs. One of those home runs against the Royals.
He has seen Vargas more than any other Tigers player, and he comes in with pretty good numbers against Jason Vargas. A .322 batting average for Ian.
So here we go. The first pitch of tonight's ball game is drilled in the air to center field. On the move is Kane, still going back. He'll turn on it off the base of the wall. Kinsler is on his way to second, and he will pull in with a lead-off double.
That's what I'm talking about. My pick to stick, getting it rolling here tonight.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Look out, Ian. I see you.
Tigers' very early scoring chance here.
Well, you have to try to jump on Vargas early in the count. He might give you a fastball or 2. Other than that, it's going to be breaking balls and changeups. Ian Kinsler takes a look at that first pitch fastball. He wasn't waiting around. And if the guy in center field, Kane, can't catch it, not many can catch it. He's one of your better center fielders in our sport.
It looked like for a second that ball might carry out, but it landed at the base of the center field wall.
Very important for the Tigers to manufacture a run here in the first inning against Vargas, who's been outstanding right here at Kauffman Stadium.
Nick Castellanos stands in, batting .245. He has 11 home runs, batting in the 2 slot here tonight for the Tigers.
And Castellanos will be trying to hit something the opposite way, on the ground or through the right side of the infield, to at least get Ian Kinsler to third base, possibly score him.
Vargas missing inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Vargas this year at home is 7-1 at Kauffman Stadium, an ERA of under 2.
Yeah, that's where Ian will be. Where Nicholas will be trying to hit something into that direction, and to get him over to third base with no problem.
Now the 1-1. 2 balls and 1 strike on Castellanos.
That's something else that Vargas will do. I was watching some video of him of his last couple of starts. Even though the fastball not blazing at about 85, 86, that's his top fastball. He is not afraid to throw that fastball inside to the right-handed batters, and what it does, it opens up the outside part of the plate with the good changeup and the breaking balls.
2-1 is lofted to left field on a line. It's going to drop, base hit. Kinsler will go to third. He will stop there, and Castellanos with a single, and very quickly the Tigers have a threat going here in the first.
You know, there was a little concern about the fact that Vargas, even though he made an all-star team and only pitched 1 inning at the all-star game, he hasn't made a start since July 5th, and that was against his former team, the Seattle Mariners, and he struggled in that particular start. 12 days in between starts. That is a long time.
Here is Justin Upton now, who kills left-handed pitching. He is at .322 against lefties this year. And Jay Up looks at a strike, 0-1.
Jay Up also has monster numbers with runners in scoring position. He comes in 5th in the American League, batting .363 in these types of situations.
Now Vargas with the 0-1 pitch. Checked it, strike 2 called on Justin Upton. Vargas is 6 feet 2'10", 34 years of age, having a fabulous season here in Kansas City. They lost Danny Duffy for a while on the disabled list. The Royals apparently searching for some pitching as they find themselves in the middle of the race here toward the deadline. Now the 0-2. Bouncing ball back to the mound. They'll check the runner, and now here comes Kinsler home. They got Kinsler in a rundown. Perez running him back. and he will make the tag, but that will leave runners at second and third. One gone.
That's an outstanding job of base running here by Ian Kinsler, because had he taken off right away, he would have been out, obviously, or it's a double play ball. So what you do is you wait to see what he's going to do. You pause, now you take off home, and you get yourself in a rundown, which lasts long enough to allow Castellanos to get to third, and it also allows Upton to get to second base. That's a nice job there by Ian Kinsler.
So now with one out, that'll bring up Miguel Cabrera. Castellanos at third, Upton at second. Mickey this year against the Royals, .364 with a couple of home runs, and he typically over his career has mashed in this ballpark. Tigers trying to jump out to an early lead in this one here tonight. And Cabrera shoots it in the air to shallow left field. Gordon sizes it up. He'll make the catch. Runner will tag but hold. That's Gordon out there, who has 6 outfield assists. And it wasn't nearly deep enough to score Castellanos.
And Miguel went to his 2-strike approach here against Vargas. He did not stride. It was a ball that was down. He lofted it into shallow left field, but with 80s assist in the last number of years for Gordon, he has the most in the majors.
Time call now. Don't know if Vargas hurt himself or what the deal is.
No, they're going to consider pitching around J.D. Martinez here is what they're thinking about doing.
Some Moustakas run in there and meet him halfway to the mound. Yeesh. Time for the AT&T reliability stat of the game, and here's why. 18 for 36 against lefties.
And Dave Island, the pitching coach, simply went out to Vargas to make sure that he understands the situation. The numbers that JD has against left-handed pitching, you do have an open base, even though you have a reliable hitter. And Victor Martinez standing in the batter's box. JD Martinez is the reigning player of the week in the American League.
8-game hitting streak. He was 5 for 11 in the Toronto series with the huge home run late yesterday. And he'll look at ball one. And JD's up there knowing probably not going to get a whole lot to hit here.
Well, that first pitch, Salvador Perez, the catcher, was almost set up in the left-handed batter's box to make sure they kept the ball off the plate where JD can't reach it. And now they want it up in the strike zone, way up.
2-0 now on JD Martinez. Now they're just going to say, go ahead and take your base. And I'm just never understood why they wouldn't do that from the get-go.
Well, I think what they tried to do, and JD's kind of locked in right now, so he's not going to leave the strike zone. But I think what they wanted to do was see if he would leave the strike zone on the first pitch and to maybe help them out. Then they may have considered pitching to JD.
Instead, they will try their luck against Victor Martinez with the bases loaded now for the Tigers. V-Mart seized against the Royals, 6 for 20. That is a .300 batting average. And V-Mart looks at a ball inside 1-0.
Vargas has been pretty good in these situations, as you could imagine, with his numbers this year. 12 wins already with a very good earned run average. And the league hitting 189 against Jason with runners in scoring position. He never gives into the strike zone.
Victor tried to hold up. 1 ball and 1 strike on Martinez.
Vargas will throw you about 49% fastball in the remaining 51%. Majority changeups and a handful of curveballs.
He had a game a couple of starts ago against the Blue Jays in which he threw 48 changeups.
Really?
In one game.
Wow.
You don't normally see anything like that.
You do not see that, but the Blue Jays have a lot of right-handed batters, and he likes to use that changeup against righties.
Much like the Tigers do with the right-handed batters, so I'm sure we'll see a few more of those tonight.
If you're Victor in this particular situation, because of the changeups that he throws, you see the usage here, 31%, second highest among major league starters. If you're Victor in this particular situation, you might want to sit on at least 1 changeup until you get to 2 strikes.
Missed with it outside, and the count goes to 3-1 with no place to put him. 5 grand slams in Victor's career, 333 overall.
He wouldn't walk in a run here, would he?
Let's see. Mikey Matuk waiting on deck. Now Vargas with the 3-1. And he takes ball 4. That'll force in a run. A bases loaded walk to Martinez. And the Tigers have an early 1-0 lead.
And Tigers got a gift win yesterday when Miguel Cabrera was walked and with the bases loaded in the 10th inning against Toronto. And the first run they scored tonight is on a bases loaded walk.
Castellanos comes around to score. And now Mikey Matuk with the bases loaded. Mikey at 264 this year. He gets the call in center field tonight. Tigers have a chance to bust it open a little bit early on in this one. And Matuk looks at a strike, 0-1. Off speed as Mikey watches it sail by. Vargas gave up a double and a single to start the inning. Tigers have cashed in 1 so far. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. That's not what Vargas wants to see. 9 balls, 9 strikes in the early ratio through 18 pitches. That's in there, 1-2.
It's about the best fastball that Vargas will feature. About 86, but as I told you earlier, he's not afraid to throw that fastball inside. As a matter of fact, here's a situation where at times he tries to double up with the fastball inside.
Went away. 2-2. At the very least, the Tigers making Vargas work in this first inning. 20 pitches now for the lefty.
That's right.
Very warm evening here. Now the 2-2, and he got him, strike 3. Matuk caught looking on a ball he thought was inside. Tom Hallion rings him up. Tigers settle for 1, and they leave the bases loaded. Bases loaded walk to Victor Martinez. Jordan Zimmerman is on the hill in this one here tonight, and he is presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
And big start here for Jordan Zimmerman to start off the 7-game road trip for the Tigers. He checks in 5-7 overall, but in 3 starts in this ballpark, he's been very good. 2-0 with an ERA of 1.23 against Royals bats.
Here is the lineup he will face tonight, presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. For Ned Yost, it'll be Merrifield, Bonifacio, and Kane, the top 3 hitters. Then you've got Hosmer and Perez. They've been good this year. How about Moustakas? He's been awfully good as well with 25 homers. Escobar, Moss, and Gordon rounding it out for KC. Zim goes to work now with a 1-0 lead as Whit Merrifield stands in for the Royals. Been a solid year for Merrifield, batting .287, 7 long balls, little pop at the top of the lineup.
Real good numbers for Merrifield this year as well against Tigers pitching, batting nearly .370.
So Zimmerman goes to work now as we head to the bottom of the first. And Merrifield looks at ball 1 outside. Merrifield back in the month of May had a 19-game hitting streak that leaked into the month of June as well. Here's the 1-0. Minus 3-game hitting streak for Merrifield. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Chopped to third base foul.
In my opinion, that's exactly what Zimmerman will need to do here tonight. He'll need to throw a lot more breaking balls against this Kansas City Royals team if he's going to have success. That's an outstanding breaking ball there. And by throwing breaking balls in fastball counts or even in counts, that will allow the Zimmerman fastball at 91, 92 to create softer contact than it has in previous outings this year. And the league is hitting .316 against the fastballs that Zimmerman has been throwing so far.
Merrifield skies this one to center field. It's Matuk under it, and 1 gone.
And let's check out the Tigers defensive alignment here this evening. Behind Jordan Zimmerman, Upton, Matuk, and Martinez in the outfield. Up the middle, and you've got Iglesias and Ian Kinsler. On the corners, it's Nicholas Castellanos and the big fella Miguel Cabrera. And Alex Avila getting the start tonight against the left-hander, Jason Vargas.
Here is Bonifacio, number 2 hitter for the Royals. Bonifacio at .254, a little bit of power with 11 homers. And he drives one to center field. Matuk right there to make the play. 2 gone. Pretty warm tonight, isn't it, partner?
Absolutely, and one of the most important people down in the Tigers dugout will be the head athletic trainer, Kevin Rand, and his staff. Because of the brutal temperatures, it's 90 degrees right now. It's going to get hotter the next 3 days. They say it's going to be 100 degrees on Thursday. Kevin's job will be to make sure that all the guys stay hydrated, not only tonight but every single day before they get to the ballpark. Very, very important when you face this kind of grueling heat. You stay hydrated today, didn't you, partner?
I did, man. I just pounded the water.
Yeah.
The heat index 98 at game time as well, so it's even warmer than the temperature gauge tells you.
But back in the day when they had AstroTurf in this particular ballpark, it was not fun to come here and play.
Kane swings and misses 0-2.
Well, for that matter, AstroTurf anywhere in the summertime, not all that fun.
Yeah, St. Louis was the same way. Philadelphia, Cincinnati, the old ballparks that had all the artificial turf. 0-2 on Kane, 2 out, nobody on. Tigers have a 1-0 lead early on here. Kane fouls it back out of play.
Mario, just what I was talking about regarding Zimmerman after the previous pitch breaking ball. Now when you come back with that fastball with 2 strikes, guys aren't necessarily hitting it hard. They're tardy on that pitch. Merrifield popped up on a fastball after a previous breaking ball as well. So far so good for Jordan Zimmerman, mixing in all his pitches here in the first frame.
And again the 0-2. Ooh, a little bit inside, and the count goes 1-2 now on Kane. Lorenzo has made more starts in center field than anybody in the American League. 87 starts in center. Gifted defensive player and swings a very good bat as well. He'll drive that one toward right center field. Martinez on the move, and he'll run it down for out number 3. 1, 2, 3 go the Royals.
Vargas here are Chevrolet's most dependable players, and when you start to look at possible Cy Young candidates and favorites, well, Vargas is on that list.
Yes, he is. 12-3 with an outstanding earned run average. Our very own Michael Fulmer, who made an all-star team as well, as did Kluber and Chris Sale, round out our 4 early candidates for the award.
Here's Alex Avila. He will get things started here. And Avila looks at ball 1. Maybe wondering why Avila, the left-hander, would play against the lefty. He's got a couple of homers and a .313 career average against Vargas.
Also, Vargas giving up a .300 batting average to left-handed batters, and he's been killing right-handers. So Brad did mention that earlier. He's talked about the success that Alex has had, but Vargas has also had a lot more success against righties than lefties.
And that's got to be because of the changeup, right?
You're absolutely right, Mario. 100% correct.
That's what I aim for, 100%. I don't always get there, though. The 2-0 is a strike call, 2-1 out of Avila.
I think we all strive for perfection. And if you strive for perfection every now and then, you get excellence.
300 against lefties, 228 versus righties.
And Brad probably would have ran a couple of more lefties out there tonight had he had not such a stable lineup.
Checked it, and it missed. Apparently, it looked pretty good. 3-1.
Well, this is the count that Avila has gotten himself in consistently all year long. And it's one of the reasons why his batting average has been hovering right around 300. Alex checks in at 297 as we speak.
And there's a leadoff walk. Boy, he's done a lot of that this year. It's a base on balls. Another one for Vargas.
And Vargas came in having some of the best control in the American League. He does not walk many.
That is 3 already on the night, although I think he took umbrage with a couple of the calls in that at bat. It'll bring up Iglesias. Tigers trying to add to their 1-0 lead. Avila now has walked 41 times this year. That is more than Cabrera. Strike 1 on Iggy. Batting .255. Tom Hanley in your home plate umpire. Cuzzy, Carapazza, and Ripperger. Rest of the crew. Flared back out of play, 0-2.
Iglesias, quite a bit of room down toward third base. And he could have looked to bunt earlier in the count. And Moustakas now backing up. But I'd like to see Iglesias every now and then when that third baseman's giving him room down there. Go ahead and drop a bunt down. And we saw him working on bunting in one of those homestands a little recently.
Swing and a miss, and Vargas chewed him up there with a breaking ball, and down he goes. It's his second strikeout of the ball game. Here is the Bernstein advantage. These are updated numbers now. Ian Kinsler career against Vargas, and this is why Rod Allen picked him for in the pick the stick selection.
Yeah, he had seen him 59 times coming into his first plate appearance. And here this evening, now batting a cool .333 against Vargas.
By the way, I don't know if you know this, but there's a new rule in pick the stick.
What's that, partner?
If you get caught in a rundown between third and home, it's a -10.
Ooh.
So that's going to hurt you tonight.
Look at you, boy. Now you're making up rules. I ain't mad at you. When you've been the leader in the clubhouse for 2 months, man, you could do and say whatever you want to say.
Well, as I keep saying, there's a long way to go. Ian had that double in the first inning, eventually was caught in the rundown on a ground ball hit back to the mound. Here's the 0-1. Drilled toward left center field. That ball is hit well. It looks like Gapper. A diving try. Kane can't get it. Here comes Avila to third. They're going to wave him home, and throw to the plate is not in time. Cut off. And Kinsler has a triple and an RBI. 2-0 Tigers.
I was just noticing before Vargas threw that 0-1 pitch to Ian Kinsler how shallow the outfielders for Kansas City were playing Ian Kinsler. And we talked about the fact that Kane in center field has great range. He's got those long galloping strides, but because he was playing in shallow, he could not get to this ball. Look where he takes off from. Had he been playing a couple of steps deeper, he makes this play. Good for the Tigers. Ian Kinsler with a double and a triple already tonight against Vargas and 1 RBI.
That would have been a spectacular play by Kane, but he came up just a little bit short. And now the Tigers got to get Kinsler in here. RBI number 24 for Ian on the season.
But Kansas City is a defensive squad that does play very shallow because all three of the guys out there have very good talent. That would be Gordon in left, Kane in center, and Bonifacio in right.
Infield in now with the man at third. Nick takes the ball outside, 2-0. So the Tigers come into this game facing one of the top pitchers in the American League in Jason Vargas, and they are trying to get their third run early in this game.
And we told you that he did struggle in his last start on July 5th before the All-Star break. It was against his former team, the Seattle Mariners, and he gave up 6 earned runs in that particular contest. The 6 earned runs, the most he'd given up in any start this year.
There are the numbers. In fact, Vargas has allowed 2 runs or fewer in 12 of his 17 starts this year. High towering fly ball to center. This will get the run in. Way back. Kane going, looking up. It's not only going to get the run in, it's gone.
Ooh, Nicholas, did you?
To dead center field. A 2-run shot for Castellanos. And he's having a night. For nothing Tigers. Man, that thing was hit a long way.
I was watching Kane in center field, and it looked like to me he was sizing that up like it was going to be a sacrifice fly, and he simply ran out of room as that ball traveled over the 410 sign. It's a blast by Nicholas. Look how far this thing goes. And that's that uppercut swing, though, that Nicholas has been working on all year long. He must have thought it was gone too.
Well, here is Upton now, and he rolls one foul. Yeah, Kane looked like he was just kind of measuring that ball, but he knew it was gone. 432 feet on the home run by Nick. 4-0. Tigers had the lead. Upton reaching on a fielder's choice in the first.
Matt Shepard about 2 weeks ago did something with Castellanos, and he was talking about what he looks to do in the batter's box and some of the changes that he's made and the trajectory that he takes with his swing. And that last swing, when we get a chance to take another look at it, you're going to see exactly what Castellanos has been working on this entire offseason into this year.
12th home run of the year for Nicholas. RBIs 48-49. Here's the 1-2, and it's swung on and missed, and Upton is out on strikes.
Let's take a look at the side swing of Castellanos here, and take a look at the trajectory of the bat. He's going to lead with the hands first. The hands come through, and look at the bat. The head gets in the hitting zone, and all of a sudden, here comes that uppercut swing, and he hits that ball about 425 feet from home plate with an exit velocity of 105.
Now Cabrera looks at a strike, 0-1. Vargas now has given up 10 runs in his last 2 starts. You mentioned the 6th spot that he allowed in his last outing that lasted only 5 innings. Swing and a miss. Miggy unable to make contact, 1 and 2.
At the beginning of the season, Vargas was pitching very well, and the Royals were not playing good baseball. So it was known around baseball that he possibly was going to get traded at the trade deadline. But with the Royals at 500 now, that's very unlikely.
And the Royals have gone from a team that more than likely would sell. They had a 9-game losing streak in April to a team that is now looking to add. And the Miggy laid off there. Full count, 3 and 2. Tigers have 4 runs on 4 hits. And there's the ball low. He walked him. So Cabrera gets a 2-out walk. That is the 4th walk now issued by the left-hander. That Yost cause for concern.
The Tigers have not seen Vargas since 2014. His career numbers against Tigers bats, 3-4 with an ERA of 5.37. So he hasn't had a lot of success against the Tigers in his career. Although this season he's pitching his best baseball.
0-1 on J.D. Martinez, who was walked intentionally in the first inning. That'll miss inside, and the count levels now 1 ball, 1 strike. Vargas made it back from Tommy John surgery in a little over 400 days, which was kind of quicker than normal.
You think the fact that he made it back quicker than most guys is the fact that he's not necessarily a hard thrower, a guy that doesn't rely on a 95-mile-per-hour fastball?
I would say so, as we apparently look at a balk here. Yeah, I would think that definitely is part of it, Rod. And that is the quickest a guy has come back from Tommy John surgery since Gavin Floyd back in 14. He did it a little bit quicker.
Yeah, Danny Duffy, who was the ace of their staff, he also had Tommy John surgery, as we get a look at the balk here, and that allowed Miguel Cabrera to go down to second base. But Danny Duffy was commenting the fact that it's amazing how fast Vargas has come back. He said when he had Tommy John, it took him about 3 years before he even learned how to pitch again. Danny Duffy said that.
1-2 on JD, and he rolls one back to the mound. Vargas knocks it down, and that'll end the inning. Big inning for the Tigers, though. They scored 3 more runs. And the big blow off the bat of Nicholas Castellanos, a 2-run shot, 4-0 Tigers. Tigers have a 4-0 lead now, thanks in part to the home run by Nick Castellanos. Stay tuned to Tigers Live. Following the game, we select the Fox Sports Detroit Tigers Player of the Game, presented by McDonald's. Stop by for your breakfast favorites. Now being served all day. Zim has the lead to work with now. The first pitch, though, is wrapped into left center field. A single for Eric Hosmer to get things started here in the bottom of the second.
Eric Hosmer has done that more this year than he has his entire major league career. The majority of his hits this season have gone the opposite way. He just takes his first pitch breaking fastball, up in the strike zone and hits it past the defense, which was over shifting him to the pull field.
That'll bring up Salvador Perez. Zim had an easy 1-2-3 10-pitch first inning. 0-1 on Perez.
Good pitch. A lot of the hitters in the American League, they're so accustomed to Jordan Zimmerman coming at them with first pitch fastballs, and that if you can throw a breaking ball and throw it effectively, you can get some easy strike ones tonight against an aggressive Kansas City ball club.
Swing and a miss. And Perez waves out another slider, 0-2.
Also keep in mind that Salvador Perez has grounded into 14 double plays this year, which leads their team. Anything on the ground, a guaranteed twin killing.
He's got to be among the most in the league, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's way up there. A couple of guys are ahead of him. Cano is ahead of him with 15, and I think Elvis Andrus of the Texas Rangers is grounded into 16.
Cute foul back for the Royals dugout.
Now here's where you can get away with a good fastball if you're Zimmerman upstairs. You can't throw a force strike. You have to go in off the plate a couple of inches, but you don't want to go in too far because you don't want to hit Salvador. Or you simply elevate the fastball after 3 consecutive breaking balls and see if you can get him to swing and miss by you changing his eye level.
Perez is 0 for his last 10, and Zim trying to make that 0 for 11. Ground ball left side, base hit. An 0-2 single to left field, and the Royals have 2 men on.
Not a bad pitch by George Zimmerman. Not a horrible pitch, I should say, but I question the pitch in this particular count. He's already thrown him 3 consecutive breaking balls. He comes back with a 4th breaking ball, and Salvador didn't miss that one. I think maybe if you could do it all over again, maybe throw 1 fastball and then go back to the breaking ball.
So the first 2 Royals are aboard here. Mike Moustakas, who is having an all-star season, stands in. 25 home runs, good for 4th in the American League. Popped it up, straight up. Third base side, it's going to be Castellanos. Infield fly rule there, 1 gone.
Thank you very much.
That'll bring up Alcides Escobar.
Now you have to be careful here with Escobar. A couple of things. He loves to swing at the first pitch, especially with runners in scoring position, and he's also hitting over 400 this year against Tigers.
Ooh. Yeah, 10 for 24. And Escobar has steadily brought his batting average up. When we saw them early in the season, he was under 200.
Yeah, he's been performing very well the last 3 weeks or so.
Really, since the beginning of June, he's been near 300 in that stretch.
Start him off with a breaking ball.
There's a strike on the inside part of the plate.
Good pitch at 92.
Escobar playing in his 262nd consecutive game for the Royals. It's a club record for consecutive games started. Missed inside.
And last couple of weeks, as far as home games are concerned, last 15 home games for Escobar, over 400 with some extra base damage, and he's driven in 12. And slick fielding shortstop. Free agent after this season is over for Escobar.
In there, a strike called as Zim stays inside again. 1-2. Escobar has occasional power, not a whole lot. 3 homers this year. Jordan has surrendered singles to Hosmer and Perez. Tigers up by 4. Another big crowd here at Kauffman Stadium tonight on a very warm evening. And he got him, strike 3. Caught him looking. Escobar is out of there, 2 gone.
Outstanding pitch sequence there from Jordan to Escobar. Everything but fastballs, and he froze him with 1 inside at 92.
They'll bring up Brandon Moss now with 2 outs. While Moss has had a terrible season in terms of average, 191, he's knocked in only 16. He typically has been decent over his career against the Tigers, although he's hitless against them this year. But he's got an odd stat line. I mean, how do you have 10 home runs and only 16 RBIs?
A lot of solo shots. Not hitting home runs in clutch situations.
They're playing him to pull on the infield and the outfield. The 0-1. Swing and a miss.
And one of the things that we talked about at the beginning of the contest was the importance of first pitch strikes for Jordan Zimmerman. And so far he is 7 of 8 in that department, so he's doing a very nice job of getting ahead and not necessarily making mistakes in the strike zone.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Zim comes back after a pair of leadoff singles here in the second. His second strikeout of the ball game, and this one strands 2. T-Mobile, Jose Quintana, man, it didn't take him long to make his presence felt, did it?
He was dealing yesterday in Baltimore, and that's a hitter-friendly ballpark, but he punched out 12 and did not walk a batter.
Ryan Zimmerman has passed Vlad Guerrero and Michael Pineda with Tommy John surgery, which certainly I would think would affect the trade market now because the Yankees in need of another starter.
Yes, they are. And they will go out and find themselves a starter.
Victor Martinez leads it off. He had a bases loaded walk in the first. Zimmermann looks at a ball low. Tigers got 1 in the first, 3 in the second. Castellanos has homered in this game, and Kinsler has doubled and tripled. Here's the 1-1. 2-1 on Victor, and the pitch count coming in the inning was 49 for Vargas after 2 innings, so he's not doing himself any favors.
And Tigers are doing a fabulous job of making him throw the ball over the plate. Of the 52 that he has thrown, he has missed the strike zone with nearly half of those.
There's a rocket up the middle, a base hit for Victor.
That was a pretty swing by Victor from the right side.
Already 5 hits now for the Tigers. Bring up Mikey Matuk. Mikey struck out with the bases loaded to end the first on a pitch he thought was a little bit inside, but Tom Hallion called him out. Fouled back out of play 0-1. Tigers have a 4-game series here. In fact, the Tigers now are starting a stretch in which the next 10 will be against the Central Division. 4 here, 3 in KC, or 3 in the mini, I should say, and then back home to face KC again. So these two teams will get quite comfortable with each other next week.
Yeah, they will face off 7 times in the next 10 days.
Mikey on front, and the count 0-2. That one missed inside, and it just missed. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Low ball 2. Vargas began his career with Florida. He spent some time with the Mets, a lot of time with Seattle. Been with the Royals since 2014. He's also pitched with the Angels briefly. There's a high fly ball to left field. That ball is hit well. It is deep, and Mikey Moustakas is gone in the drink. A home run to left field into the fountains, and the Tigers continue to pound Vargas. Home run number 5 on the year for Mikey Moustakas. 6-0 Detroit. That is the Tigers' second home run of the game. That was a poke.
Oh, you don't think?
That's one of those ones, Ron, I assume that you just don't feel coming off the bat.
Well, as soon as Mikey Moustakas hit it, I mean, he put his head down and started trotting around the base paths. I don't know how far that one traveled, but it traveled over the 387 sign in left center field. It had to go at least 415, 420. Now that's back-to-back starts where Vargas has given up 6 earned runs.
And Avila looks at a strike.
The slipper's not coming off, is it, partner?
Oh, it may.
Huh?
It just may be. 445 feet. That is a poke. Okay, now there's some early action in the bullpen. Alexander, the left-hander, warming up for KC.
Did you say 445?
That's what I said. I mean, that thing hit the fountain out there and left. So it cleared the seats.
Well, he had already thrown him a bunch of changeup. Then he came back with another off-speed pitch, actually a cut fastball at 85, and Mikey Moustakas, boy, he lifted it, separated on that one.
All Tigers so far in this one, 6-0. They had 6 hits, 2 of them homers. And Avila is caught looking at strike 3.
Hit speed 104 off the bat of Mikey Moustakas, and you told them the distance 445. Mikey feeling pretty good about himself right now. He like, did I? JF said, yeah, you did. Look at Mike, yeah, I did.
So here is Iglesias now with 1 out. Tigers have 1 in the first, 3 in the second, and 2 in the third.
Tigers doing a wonderful job of making Vargas get the ball up in the strike zone. They're not offering at those changeups and breaking balls down.
Now the 1-1. Well, he can't believe that one. Iglesias thought that was either low or inside or both.
Well, Iglesias is sitting on an off-speed pitch, and the last 2 fastballs he's taken for strikes.
Now the 1-2. It'll bounce in. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Jose, who struck out in the second. Chopper left side, short hop pick there by Moustakas. 2 gone. Now Ian Kinsler Well, he's halfway home to a cycle, a double and a triple. His triple knocked in a run in the second. He's knocked in 24 now, and Ian came in battling a bit here in the month of July, just 171, but Vargas has been a good tonic. It'll dive in for a strike. Matuk still breathing hard. Here's the 0-1. So Vargas now is about to throw his 70th pitch. We're only in the third. Drilled toward left center field. Kane is on the run for this one. Still going back. Can't get it. Up against the wall. It's going to be extra bases again. Kinsler rounds the bag. He's going for 3, and he's in there.
Do it, Ian.
Another triple for Kinsler, his second of the ball game and his third extra base hit.
They are beating up on Jason Vargas tonight like he stole something, and that will be the last pitch that he throws of the night.
No soft contact tonight against Vargas. And that's going to be it as Ned Yost makes the call to the bullpen. A rough, and I mean rough, night for Vargas, the all-star. It's a wall side windows pitching change. We'll be back. With 2 outs and a runner at third base, Mikey Matuk has homered in this inning. Ian Kinsler is having himself a night, and as we look at the pick the stick selections here tonight, it looks like Mr. Allen is cleaning up, and so is Mr. Thompson.
Yes, Trevor is. He almost took Mikey Matuk, so Trevor, he would have did well either way tonight.
Well, Trev and I were driving to the ballpark, and he said, "Who should I pick? Should I go with Castellanos?" I said, "Yeah, go with Nick." He's doing really well, but he's not going to share those points with me.
No, he's not going to share those points.
Nor should he. Here is Castellanos trying to add to that point total for Trevor. Swing and a miss, 0-1. The new pitcher now is left-handed. He is Scott Alexander.
He's made a career-high 23 outings this season, which ranks 14th in the American League as far as relievers are concerned. He's got a real good ERA. He's only given up 8 runs in 25 innings so far this year. ERA at 2.16 for Alexander. He's also done pretty good as far as his inherited runners that have scored this year. Of the 17 that Alexander has inherited, only 3 have touched home plate, so that's pretty good.
Royals bullpen of late has been a lot better. Nick trying to get Kinsler in from third base. The 1-1 to Castellanos is a ball.
Alexander's got a fastball that tops out at about 94. Every now and then, maybe 95. He also uses his slider and quite a few changeups.
The other thing about Alexander is he's held righties to a 190 batting average, which is pretty good among left-handed relievers. In fact, the only two that have been better this year is Andrew Miller and Justin Wilson of the Tigers. Nobody talks about Alexander, but the other two are pretty good. Third among AL lefties against righties. Nick, a single and a 2-run homer and 2 runs scored.
And ball really flying here tonight. Anything up in the air has a chance to get out of here the way it's been traveling in the first 3 frames.
Three and 2 now on Nick. All Vargas can do now is watch the rest of the night. He was pelted pretty good to the tune of 6 runs on 7 hits. Not to mention 4 base on balls. Here's the 3-2. Swing and a miss. Castellanos is out of there. That'll end the inning. Tigers add 2 more. Mikey Matuk hit a bomb. And I mean a bomb. A long 2-run shot, his 5th of the year. 6-0 Tigers. Castellanos and Matuk, and they have a 6-0 lead. We'll go back to college now with Nissan as Alex Gordon stands in. And Gordon from 03 to 05 was at Nebraska, where he won the Golden Spikes Award and the Dick Hauser Award. He had quite a collegiate career and was the 2nd pick in the 05 draft by KC, the #1 pick overall that year.
He started his major league career as a 3rd baseman. He struggled at 3rd base.
#1 overall pick that year was Justin Upton of the Tigers. So it was Jay Up #1 and then Gordon #2.
And just finishing that thought, Gordon started his career as a 3rd baseman, struggled in the majors offensively and defensively, moved to left field and turned his entire career around.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Gordon waves and misses.
Ooh, that breaking ball is filthy tonight that Jordan Zimmerman has been featuring. He even changed speeds on that breaking ball. This one's a little slower breaking ball than he normally throws.
That one dives low. The slider missed inside, and the count now 1-2 on Gordon. Merrifield and then Bonifacio to follow. Back up the middle into center, base hit. So the third starts like the second did for the Royals, a leadoff single.
Let's take a look at our bell tire pitch by pitch. I like the start that Zimmerman got off to tonight against Merrifield. Merrifield takes a strike, and then you're going to miss with the ball here. Then he throws him a 1-1 breaking ball, and by throwing this 1-1 breaking ball right here, it gets Merrifield off the fastball. He comes back with a fastball, and Merrifield pops it straight up. So that's the advantage you have as a pitcher if you will just put that thought of the breaking ball in the hitter's mind consistently. You can get away with some mistake fastballs every now and then. You know, Jordan's given up 2 hits here today, Mario, already, and both of them with 2 strikes.
Well, the first one he gave up was the 0-2 to Sal Perez, which I thought was going to start a big inning for them because with 2 on, nobody out. But he was able to buckle down.
Yeah, you get 2 strikes against these big league hitters, man. You got to do your best to try to put these guys away.
Merrifield fly to center field. He is 0 for 1. Royals now have 3 hits. Pulled foul just outside of the bag. Tigers have scored in all 3 innings so far. 1 in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in the third. Sim, while he has struggled on the road really since the middle of last year, has not had a win since last June on the road, has pitched well in this ballpark, really well as a matter of fact. Now the 0-2. Ooh, we got him fishing. There's that slider, struck him out. Time for a game break now. Here's John Keating. All right, Keats, here is Bonifacio. Here is what it looks like in the East. Boston 3 up on Tampa. How about that? Now the Rays in second place ahead of the Yankees.
Yes, they are. Kevin Cash, their manager, has them playing some really good baseball. And meanwhile, that Boston Red Sox pitching staff starting to sort itself out. Price pitched a shutout his last outing. Chris Sale's been unbelievable all year. And if they can get Porcello going, they're going to be tough to catch.
There's a strike called on a breaking pitch to Bonifacio.
Not only is Jordan Zimmerman throwing these sliders on the outside part of the plate and burying those down in the dirt, he's also front dooring some of these right-handed batters with a slider too.
He is making quick work of the Royals, or at least did through the first time through the lineup.
He's got a great tempo out there so far tonight, not taking a whole lot of time in between pitches.
Sim, that first time through, his longest at bat was a 5-pitch at bat. Everybody else was 4 or fewer. So pitch count in great shape because of that. Only 32 right now here in the third.
Wow, only 25 balls.
Popped up. First base side, it'll be Cabrera and Kinsler. Ian will make the catch. That'll be number Lorenzo Cain now with 2 away. Cain fly to right field in the first inning. Cain has been walking a lot more this year. In fact, is 1 shy of his career high. 36 walks this season for Cain. He'll drive that one toward shallow center field. Matuk coming on, base hit. That'll send the runner to third base. Gordon moves up, and the Royals now have him at first and third with 2 away. And it'll set up Eric Hosmer.
And that's a breaking ball that's down, that's right off the end of the bat. Mikey Montauk in center field after he watched the big, powerful swing here of Kane, who has power. He takes 1 or 2 steps back because when you're in the outfield, you can't really tell whether the hitter hit the ball off the end of the bat or not. And therefore, Kane gets himself a single.
So the Royals have threatened each of the last 2 innings. Zim trying to shut this threat down now. Hosmer had a base hit of the second. Ball 1.
And Eric Hosmer has really been taking advantage of left field this year. As we get a look at the first pitch efficiency so far tonight by Jordan, 11 of 13 in first pitch strikes so far thrown. And Hosmer, you take a look at his hit chart here. A lot of balls going the opposite way. Not so many to right field. Not a lot down the right field line, but really taking advantage of center field to left field. And his batting average when he goes in that direction is well over 400. Not so much when he's pulling the ball on the ground.
Hosmer lifetime against the Tigers. Pretty good numbers, nearly 300, 296, but 16 home runs in his career versus Detroit pitching. Over the years he's gotten it done. Recently had a 16-game hitting streak snap. That was on Saturday. Going to be tough to keep all these guys around that are free agents for the Royals once this season is done.
Yeah, they're in a tough situation. They can't sell because they're at 500. They're only a couple of games out of first place in the American League Central, but they've got 4 free agents that they're not going to be able to sign all of them. Tough situation for Kansas City front office.
1-2 now on Hosmer. Royals had lost 5 in a row before winning their ball game yesterday to snap that streak, so they're back to 500. Tigers, meanwhile, trying to claw desperately toward 500. They came in at 41 and 49. Zim has slowed the pace down now. 1-2 the count on Hosmer. Runner breaks to second. Swing and a miss. He struck him out and left the strike zone. Badly, too. Jordan, another punch out, and the Royals strand 2. For the fourth inning at Kauffman Stadium, 6-0 in favor of the Tigers, and they beat up on Jason Vargas early. In fact, knocked him out of the game. And really, Rob, the Tigers have done good work against lefties all year.
And they really have. I mean, the batting average fourth, that would be in the American League. The OPS way up over 800, and home runs also leading the American League in home runs per at bat against southpaw.
So Alexander goes back to the hill, and he is facing Justin Upton here as the Tigers bat in the fourth. And Jay Up looks at a ball low, 1-0.
And Tigers need to get ready to hit that fastball, because Alexander, obviously, he likes his fastball. 90% of the pitches he throws are 92 to 95 miles an hour. Good hitting speed for Jay Up.
Upton, a fielder's choice and a strikeout. Will be followed by Cabrera, then J.D. Martinez. Tigers have scored at least one in every inning so far. Now the 1-1. Upton was 5 out of 12 in that series against Toronto, in which the Tigers won 2 out of 3. They lost that first game. It was an ugly first game coming out of the break. They walked 10 batters.
Ugh, it was ugly.
And it just, he walked into the clubhouse the next day, and you could tell that the Tigers were not very happy. And then all of a sudden they perked up with a couple of wins, and they're well ahead here tonight. That's how quickly baseball can change when you play as many games as you do on a nightly basis. One win turns into 2, turns into 3, and hopefully the Tigers have another one here tonight.
And then the confidence starts to come.
And Upton looks at a ball outside. Full count now, 3-2. Tigers have out hit the Royals 7-4 in this game so far. And he walked him. That's another base on balls for KC pitching tonight.
Here's our Comerica Bank game summary. Mario told you they jumped all over the starter Jason Vargas. That was the second inning. A triple by Ian Kinsler. That plated a 1 run. That would be Alexander Avila. And then you have Nicholas Castellanos. He follows with a 2-run shot. Mikey Matuk has also homered in this game. His ball went 445 feet. That was in the 3rd inning. So Tigers, and brought the bats with them here tonight.
And a strike called on Cabrera. The Royals have 5 walks tonight from their pitching staff, and the Tigers have gotten the leadoff man on in all 4 innings so far.
Tigers as a team, those last 2 games against the Toronto Blue Jays and so far here tonight, have been getting quite a few free passes.
Chopped to third base. Moustakas on the run, has only 1 play. Threw it high. Hosmer came down with it, though. And it's snow coated too. Upton moves up.
Anytime you throw off balance like this and you're on the run, usually the ball is going to be high. Thankfully for Moustakas, Hosmer's pretty tall over at first base and very athletic. He elevates and then he gets back on the bag with that left foot. And before Miguel Cabrera could get there.
We'll bring up Martinez. JD is 0 for 1 plus an intentional walk.
Should be a good matchup here. Alexander loves his fastball, and J.D. Martinez, one of the better fastball hitters in the American League.
Foul back out of play.
And J.D. will not be trying to pull the Alexander fastball. He'll be trying to hit it the opposite way. He's got a lot of power in that direction. As a matter of fact, J.D.'s last 2 home runs against Toronto over the weekend, both of those were to right field.
Top lineup doing some work early on here in the Tiger box. 3 hits Kinsler, homer, single Castellanos. Fouled away. We're talking to JD before the game today and trying to delve into the fact that he keeps that journal, and of course he uses the tablet and, you know, all that information. And one of the reporters asked him, you know, in fact it was Trevor Thompson, can there be a little bit of paralysis by analysis. And JD was quite honest. He said, yeah, there could be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my biggest strength in keeping track of all this stuff could be my biggest weakness. Looking at all these numbers, but that's just the way he operates, and that's the way he is most comfortable.
Well, judging by the 3 years that he's been in a Tigers uniform, it's really not hurting his production.
Martinez says when he faces, though, teams like KC or Cleveland, he's seen them a lot, he tends not to write down as much as he does with teams that he doesn't see a whole lot.
I am efforting a real nice piece to do with JD. I think he's agreed to do it, where we're going to sit down with a tablet, we're going to pick out some pictures, and he's going to tell all of us exactly what he's looking for, what he's doing. And then I think we're going to spend a little time in the batting cage as well.
Swing and a miss. Foul tipped it into the glove, actually, and JD is out on strikes. 2 gone. Well, Friday, July 28th, the Tigers take on the Houston Astros at 7:10. It's the District Detroit night. The first 10,000 fans receive a free District Tigers, the District Detroit baseball cap. For tickets, visit tigers.com or call 866-66-TIGERS. That'll be a nice little keepsake to have, a Tigers District Detroit cap.
Now, what was that you tweeted out today? The scoreboard?
Yes.
It looks sweet.
At Little Caesars Arena, man, that thing looks awesome.
We were in there, what, about 3 weeks ago before
Yeah.
they even put it up, but I can visualize that thing now. Beautiful.
It's about the same size as the one you have in your living room.
I wish I had something like that in my living room.
Victor a walk and a single in this game. At Little Caesars Arena coming along very nicely. In fact, the whole district is. There's a ball outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
With 2 outs, very important for Justin Upton on second base to get a really good secondary lead. We told you that the Kansas City defense is the best defense in probably all of baseball, and they've got some guys in the outfield that can really throw. And so you got to get a good secondary lead and a good jump on a base hit.
VR didn't like that last call as he saunters out of the box. 1-2. Tigers got on the board in the first on a bases loaded walk by Martinez, but that's all they could get in that inning. They have since posted 5 more runs. Here's the 1-2. Six runs on 7 Tigers hits, no runs, 4 hits for the Royals, and for the most part this large crowd has been kept quiet. Kinsler a big night, 2 triples and a double. Ground ball left side, base hit. Here comes Upton. They're going to try and score him. Here comes the throw from Gordon. Here's the tag, not in time. No tag actually. And he scores standing up. So Upton comes in, and the Tigers lead 7-0.
And we talked about the importance of Justin Upton getting a really good secondary lead with 2 outs and making sure he gave Dave Clark the best opportunity to send him home. Take a look at the secondary lead here by Jay Up at second base. He gets off the bag quite a bit, ball through the hole in the left side, and he didn't hesitate. Alex Gordon in left field's got a pretty accurate arm.
So Martinez down with a couple of RBIs, and the Tigers again continue to score in every inning so far. Here is Mikey Mott, took a long 2-run homer in his last at bat, sends a ground ball to short. They will get the force at second, and that will end the inning. Tigers tack on 1 more. As we go to the bottom of the 4th, a beautiful night in downtown Kansas City, where the Tigers are leading 7-0.
The game, Zimmerman's gotten away with a couple of fastballs here in the game that he hadn't been getting away with earlier this season. And the main reason why, well, the breaking ball. He's thrown a lot of breaking balls today, whether it be the slider, whether it be the curveball. They've been very effective against the left-handers and the right-handers, and that's kind of opened the door for him to get away with some 92, 93 mile-per-hour fastballs. Jordan Zimmerman's been outstanding today through the first 3 innings.
Yeah, to say the least, as Sal Perez leads it off and hooks one foul back to the Tiger bench.
I think you brought this up an inning ago or so. He has pitched well in this ballpark. That would be Jordan. In 3 starts, he has not been beaten in the ERA, just a shade over 1.
Well, the other thing Jordan trying to do now is win a game on the road. It's been forever since he has won a road start. We've got to go back to June 14th of 2016.
Ooh.
That was his last road win. This year his ERA on the road was nearly 7 coming in, but he's turned the table so far tonight.
And Salvador Perez got a base hit his first time up here tonight. It was an 0-2 breaking ball that was down that he hit through the left side of the infield between Castellanos and Iglesias.
Line to center field right at Matuk. Hard hit ball, but right at him. One gone. Here is Mike Moustakas.
And Mike Moustakas, another Kansas City Royal that will be a free agent after the year is over and having probably his best season as a pro. He's already hit 25 homers and he's driven in 55, so he'll cash in next year.
To be sure. He was the final vote recipient this year in the All-Star game.
That's the second time he's made the All-Star team, being the final vote.
Is that right?
Yes.
Well, they got out and supported him. The Royals fans.
Ooh.
Swing and a miss.
Do it, Jordan. This is probably the best breaking ball that Zimmerman has had this year, in my opinion.
I would agree. I mean, he's been really filthy with that today. Now the 0-2.
And it was one of the things that I talked about in the pregame show today with John Keating on the John Keating show. We talked about the fact that he would need to throw more breaking balls. That's funny to you.
Produced by John Keating, written by John Keating.
More breaking balls in fastball counts, and he has done that. Now, you know John's listening.
Oh, I know he is. He knows we're just joking with him. 0-2, a breaking ball there from Zim. Moustakas got a piece of. Moustakas also took part in the home run hitting contest this year.
I think we were talking on our call this morning. I told our pregame producer Craig Wilkin how good Zim would be tonight. Remember that?
I do remember that, actually.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss. Down he goes.
Do it, Zim.
Time now to check in with Trevor Thompson.
Guys, throughout the telecast tonight, you've mentioned the heat here in Kansas City. Well, it certainly was hot today. First pitch over 91 degrees. It's cooler now that the sun has gone down and there's a breeze blowing in. But I talked with some of the guys before the game about how to battle the heat over the next 4 days. It's supposed to get up to 100 by the end of this series. Ian Kinsler, played all those years in Texas, told me it's mind over matter.
It's cool.
He said there's no way he's going to let the heat defeat him. You just have to come out, get your rest, get hydrated, but you're weak if you let that sort of thing beat you.
You're weak.
Weak. He called it weak. He said, I'm not going to be weak.
And Trev's hanging tough down there at 90 degrees. I see you, Trev.
Trev, you got a towel?
I do have a towel, but I'm so happy we're able to wear golf shirts. A tie and a jacket just would not cut it here tonight, guys. I think you know that.
We're wearing parkas tomorrow night, so get yours out. 0-1 the count. And Escobar, he's batting here with 2 outs. Zim with 5 strikeouts in this game now. 0-2 on Alcides, who struck out in the second.
He did a nice job against Alcides his first time up. He threw him fastballs inside and froze him for strike 3. And this time he got ahead of him with a breaking ball away. Let's see how he wants to finish him off.
Royals have had a few chances in this game. 2 on, nobody out in the second, couldn't score. First and third in the third, couldn't score. And Zim, for the most part, has kept the pitch count in pretty good shape. It's at 50 right now on this hot, humid night.
And Tigers also needed a start like this from Zimmerman because Anibal Sanchez in his outing yesterday didn't last as long as the Tigers would have liked, and they had to use an assortment of different relievers. And they played 10 innings yesterday to win that game. So to see Jordan Zimmerman at least in the fourth here and looking like he's going to pitch further is exactly what the doctor ordered. Jordan has not made many mistakes tonight over the heart of the plate. Everything either way in or way off the plate.
Missed inside again. All twos now on the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Nobody on for the Royals. Should Escobar reach? Brandon Moss waiting on deck. Here's the 2-2. Lifted back out of play. Seven-pitch at bat now for Escobar, one of the few lengthy at-bats that Zim has had to deal with in this game. In fact, it's the longest of the night. Pitch number 8. Floated into center field. It's going to sink and drop, base hit.
That's a pretty good at-bat by Escobar. And Jordan Zimmerman threw him everything but the kitchen sink and finally came back with a soft breaking ball that Escobar singled sharply. Yeah, right back up the middle. Not a bad pitch, but a good at bat and a good swing by Escobar.
Now Brandon Moss, who is no match for Zimmerman back in the third, he struck out, or rather in the second inning. One of the 5 punch outs that Zim has. Moss is average now at 190. Fouled away. You can tell the Royals really missed the bat of Kendrys Morales, who hit, I think, 30 home runs for them last year. Moss coming in trying to fill that DH spot, but while he's hit for a little bit of power, the average well below 200.
Well, Kendrys Morales, a 300 hitter and a switch hitter with power. He provided a lot of protection for guys like Hosmer, Moustakas, Kane, no matter where he was batting in that batting order.
Roll to first, foul.
Royals would have loved to keep Kendrys Morales, but and with all their potential free agents after this particular season, they really couldn't afford him. They're going to have a tough enough time trying to sign one of their own.
Agreed.
Whether it be Hosmer or Moustakas or Kane, possibly Vargas.
Who is the most likely?
Escobar.
Do you think?
Man,
it's hard.
Kane.
Kane.
I think Kane.
The 0-2. Bouncing in.
I believe the other 2 are represented by Scott Boras, and you know Boras is not going to take and give away any friendly deals at all, but I think Kane is comfortable here in Kansas City, and I think if they come on him with a decent enough contract, Kane might just want to stay in Kansas City.
1-2 on Brandon Moss. Alex Gordon waiting on deck. Tigers on top 7-0. They scored early and they've not let up. Now the 1-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That's a good pitch there by Jordan. And changed the eye level. Fastball at 93 upstairs.
The next one will be number 60, so this 20-pitch 4th inning is his longest. .94
It has been the top fastball thrown by Jordan so far tonight. Most of his fastballs have been anywhere from 92 to 93 miles an hour, but every now and then he'll hump up and get to 94.
Tigers giving up the entire left side of the infield against Moss, playing him to pull. He'll hit it the other way instead, but a lazy fly ball to Upton, who makes the catch. And he'll end the inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. The Sam Bernstein Law Firm, official legal services sponsor of Fox Sports Detroit. Bell Tire, for tires and auto service. Everybody needs a Bell Tire guy. And go for thrilling drives and deals at the Chevy Summer Drive. Chevrolet, find new roads. Back here in Kansas City, where the Tigers have done all the scoring tonight. They lead 7-0 as we bring you back inside Kauffman Stadium. It'll be Avila, Iglesias, and Kinsler facing the left-hander. Alexander came on in the third. He's been on since. They knocked Vargas out of the game early tonight, did the Tigers. Avila's 0 for 1 with the walk. And he swings and misses 0-1. Avila had a base on balls, had scored in the second on the triple by Kinsler. Ian with a couple of 3-baggers tonight. Here's the 0-1. Seven runs, 8 hits for the Tigers. No runs, 5 hits for the Royals.
Alexander's got some life on that fastball. It's 93, but it's not straight. He's got a power sinker, and he keeps it down at the bottom of the strike zone. It's one of the reasons why he's having such a good year. And pitching out of their bullpen.
Just a tad high. Alexander hails from Santa Rosa, California. 6'2", 195. Spent most of last year with their AAA team in Omaha. It's been a rebuilt bullpen for the Royals, one that was so dominant for a stretch that brought them to the World Series and then a World Series victory.
Yeah, at one point in time, man, they had Herrera that was pitching the 7th, throwing 100 miles an hour. You had Wade Davis, who was unhittable for about 3 years here. in a Royals uniform, and you had Greg Holland, who was closing out games. So if you were losing going into the 7th inning against the Royals, it was pretty much game over.
And another walk for Avila. How about that? 2 more tonight.
They also had that kid here for 1 year, Ryan Madsen, who was just traded to the Washington Nationals.
Okay, the Tigers battle these Royals July 24th through the 26th. Save on great seats with the weekday value pack and get 4 tickets, hot dogs, chips, and drinks for just $19 per person. Go to tigers.com or call 866-66-TIGER. Now Iglesias will make 5 straight innings now. The Tigers have gotten the leadoff man on. And 6 walks for KC pitching.
Well, that's one of the reasons why they've scored in every single frame in this game.
Iglesias strikeout, ground out. Chopper to the right side. Hosmer. Now he's just going to tag Avila. Now we'll get the force at second. Iglesias safe at first base. Fielder's choice, 1 out. An odd looking play.
It was.
Not quite sure what Hosmer was doing there.
And take one look at it. I think once he finally feels the ball, the pitcher is not there, so they're not going to get the out at first base, and simply waits for Avila to make a move. And once Avila decides he's not going to make a move, he simply lobs it to Escobar to get the out.
Here's your guy. Kinsler has a double and 2 triples. Plus an RBI. One in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in the third, 1 in the fourth. And they score more here in the 5th. How about we score at least one in every inning tonight? There's a ball low.
I'll go for that.
And now Perez coming out to the mound.
Ian Kinsler's got himself in a really nice, friendly fastball count, and it's about 100%. And he's going to get a fastball about 93 from this guy, Alexander. If you're Ian, you might as well and try to find another gap. Already a double, 2 triples this evening for Ian Kinsler. First Tigers leadoff hitter with 2 triples in a game since Austin Jackson did it in 2012. Nicholas Castellanos leads the American League in triples.
Yeah, 6 of them. Strike call, down 2-1. Wondering if that Jackson game was in Detroit, because that's a pretty good triples ballpark.
It is.
Here's the 2-1. Now 3-1 on Kinsler. Nicholas waiting on deck. Yeah, that game with AJ with Jackson was in Detroit. Little chopper back up the middle. Merrifield for 1, and the relay double play. 4-3 twin killing ends the inning. You're watching Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire. 8-0 is our score. Here's our game summary. Ian Kinsler, 3 out of 4 tonight, 2 triples, a double, and an RBI. But really, maybe the bigger story is Jordan Zimmerman, who has scuffled down the road this year. 4 innings, 5 hits, no runs.
And has not walked a batter, and for the most part has kept the ball out of the middle of the plate and has induced a lot of really soft contact in this game through 4 innings. Very encouraging outing so far for Jordan.
Gordon, the number 9 hitter, leads it off and takes strike 1.
And that's something else that Jordan has done a bunch of tonight. First pitch strikes. Led beautifully tonight by Alex Avila.
Merrifield and Bonifacio will follow here. The Royals have 5 hits. Tigers have 8. Gordon had a single in the 3rd. Now the 1-1. Flared foul back to the screen. 1-2 on Alex Gordon.
See, a lot of the fastballs that had been getting hit around by Jordan Zimmerman earlier this year, he's getting away with because that breaking ball is fresh in the minds of some of these Kansas City Royals batters. Jordan Zimmerman 16 of 18 in first pitch strikes. We just showed you that.
Now the 1-2. Ground ball foul, first base side. Tigers and Royals played here earlier this year in KC. That was back in May. Tigers won 2 out of 3. And then they took 2 out of 3 against KC back home in June. High fly ball. Shallow left field. It's going to be Upton. And there's 1 away. Bring in Whit Merrifield, the top of the lineup, and well, really in this one, Rod, when you look at Zimmerman, we've talked a lot about him, but the other thing is his offense. The good thing to see in this game, for me at least, the fact they got some early runs, but they continue to tack on. You
know, it starts with Ian Kinsler. When Ian is balling the way that he's been balling so far here today with a double and a couple of triples, it just seems like the entire offense kind of perks up. Castellanos has gotten it going. Good at-bats by Victor Martinez and Miggy also in this game. So far, well-played game.
Yeah, top of the lineup has been really good for the Tigers. As Whit Merrifield looks at ball 1.
It also helps when you have a pitcher out there that's working at a pretty snappy pace, that's getting you back in the dugout so you can put your helmet and get your bats and have some fun, and that's what Jordan has provided them with tonight.
It's funny you mention that because I was looking at some numbers on the Tigers' time of game. They played a game yesterday, of course, that went extra innings, but it was 4 hours, 16 minutes. And the Tigers are averaging 3:14 per game this year. There is only one team that averages longer games.
Yankees?
Close.
Boston.
Yes. You knew it would be either one of those two teams.
Right.
The 1-1. He spins in a breaking ball for a strike. 1-2. Now for Jordan.
Yeah, really only one stressful inning. That was his last frame where he needed 22 pitches.
I hope that's not a blister there. Little chopper to shortstop. Iglesias charging. Merrifield is out.
Yeah, I think he might be dealing with a blister. We'll take a look and see if he starts to look down at his finger periodically. Take a look at the pitch usage so far tonight for Jordan. And only about 50% with a fastball, but you can see how much he uses off-speed stuff tonight. The slider a bunch, the curveball a ton, not so many changeups.
He backed Bonifacio out of there. 1 ball, no strikes. He is 0 for 2. Line out, pop up. Tigers lead 7-0. We're in the 5th. Jordan came into this game allowing a total of 14 runs in his last 3 starts. San Diego and Cleveland twice. Little chopper to the shortstop. Going to be cut off by Castellanos. No play. Infield hit for Bonifacio.
That is now 21 consecutive games and that Bonifacio has reached base safely. 21 in a row. And no play here for Castellanos. Bonifacio's a big dude, but he's got some decent speed. It's a do or die play. When you don't make that play, you don't field it cleanly. And obviously, you're not going to get a runner that's running the way that Bonifacio was.
It'll bring up Lorenzo Cain with 2 outs. Single and a fly ball for Cain. That'll be the 6th hit on the night for KC. Off the end of the bat, foul. More action in the bullpen for the Royals. The right-hander warming up. McCarthy would be the 3rd pitcher used by KC in this game. Cain waits on the 0-1. In the air to center, not deep. Mott took almost in his tracks, and that'll end the inning. No runs and infield hits. Zim doing good work tonight.
Very big days, and Castellanos, he's had one as well. Back in the 2nd inning, he hit his 12th home run of the year. That was against the starter, Jason Vargas, who gave up 6 runs here tonight.
Vargas having the best year of his career as an all-star, and the Tigers jumped him early and scored a bunch of runs on him. Knocked him out of the game in the 3rd. Castellanos is 2 out of 3. And we have a wall side windows change now. Kevin McCarthy is on.
And 9 of his 11 outings this year has been scoreless for McCarthy. The average is pretty good, 2.40 as far as the ERA is concerned. He's pitched 15 innings, so he's been pitching well out of the bullpen for them.
Nick and then Upton and then Cabrera, 2, 3, and 4 in the Tigers lineup. And it's in for a strike, 0-1. Home run that Castellanos hit was his 12th of the year. Really over his last 21 now. 329 batting average in that stretch.
And McCarthy features a fastball that will top out at about 94. Throws lots of sliders and a handful of changeups.
Nick looks at a strike.
Yeah, Nick thought that was low. 93, good two-seam action on that running fastball thrown by McCarthy.
Started the year at AAA, had a 2.33 ERA early on for the Storm Chasers. Their AAA team in Omaha. Bouncing ball to short, Escobar to his left. Played that with a funny hop and threw him out by half a step.
We got a couple of really good shortstops in the building here tonight. Escobar would be one of those, and of course Iglesias is another one. But this play right here is tricky because it takes a little bit of a bad hop on him, but he's so good with his glove, he just plays it behind him, and he's got a strong enough arm to get Castellanos. He has one of your stronger throwing arms of any shortstop in the game, Escobar.
That'll bring up Justin Upton. Jay up with a walk and a run scored in the fourth. 6 walks tonight for KC pitching. That is popped in the air to shallow center field. It's going to be Escobar. Tough play, and a nice play by the Royals shortstop.
He was the only one that was going to make that play, and that's exactly what you're taught to do as a middle infielder. On pop-ups like that, you go as hard as you can, as long as you can, as fast as you can. And if you do not hear any of the outfielders call you off, then you know that you're not going to have any contact out there. So it's a good play by Escobar. He makes that play as well as Iglesias makes that play running into the outfield.
That'll bring up Cabrera now. Who do you think has more range short, Escobar or Iglesias?
That's a great question.
I mean, the reason I ask is that play there, Iglesias, I don't know, he just seems to make that with just relative ease, and it just never seems to take any effort from it.
Yeah, they both make playing that position look really easy, to be honest with you. They're two of the best.
He's made a couple of fine plays here in the 6th inning. Miggy is over 2 with a walk. One and 2. Cabrera had 4 RBIs in the Toronto series. 45 for the year now for Miguel. He'll drive that one foul.
Still a long way to go this season, but career lows across the board for Miguel Cabrera this year in batting average and homers and RBIs. And usually this time of year, Miguel's well over 300, knocking on the door 20 RBIs and 70 steaks about this time of year.
He has set the bar so high over his career that you expect those numbers every single season. Of course, he salted the Triple Crown here a couple of years ago. Little chopper back up the middle off the pitcher's glove. Merrifield has it. And McCarthy with a 1-2-3 6th inning.
Did you get a chance to see this play last night by JBJ, Jackie Bradley Jr. in Boston? David Price on the mound, Aaron Judge at the plate, and Judge making a bid for his 31st home run of the year, and Jackie Bradley, he brings it back. What a play. What a play.
The Judge was overruled there. That was a great play, man. I'll tell you what, that outfield in Boston, is there a more athletic outfield?
I don't think so, man. I mean, there's some that are close, but not only do they do it offensively, but they do it defensively too, so they're superior players.
We've been waiting on a right fielder for the Tigers, and now Presley had to run back into the clubhouse and get a glove, so he's running out to right field, and J.D. Martinez
has he been traded?
Out of the game. We have not received any word at all, but J.D. has left this ball game, and Presley now will take over in right.
Kind of odd.
Well, the last time we saw something like this was Austin Jackson. Remember that?
When he trotted off the field at Comerica Park that day when they traded him to the Seattle Mariners.
That was in the middle of an inning.
Yes, it was.
All right, so J.D. out of the game now, and Presley is in right. Stay tuned. Here is Hosmer to lead things off, and he looks at a strike on one.
Well, Al Avila was on television today, and he said that they had lots of conversations with lots of teams, and they were pretty far down the road in doing something soon.
Hosmer looks at a ball outside. Al was scheduled to meet with the media here at the ballpark today, but that was called off late. And as you might expect, this time of the year, the phones are burning up. Here's the 1-1. Hosmer fouls it back out of play. Perez and then Moustakas here in the home part of the 6th. Story tonight, aside from the offense for the Tigers, is Jordan Zimmerman. Two and two the count. So we banged that one off his foot, and Hosmer is going to feel that for a while. Single and a strikeout for the talented first baseman of the Royals. Was having a marvelous month of July coming into this game. 378 this month, and his on base was well over 400. Zim now with the 2-2, and it's chopped foul to third base. Zim really has avoided big time trouble tonight. I mean, he's had a couple of runners on in a couple of different innings, but he has struck out 5. And he got him. Strike 3 call.
Outstanding backdoor breaking ball. He started that ball off the plate, and Hosmer gave up on it, and that ball caught the outside corner with the help of a real nice presentation with the glove from Avila, and to give Tom Hallion a really nice look. Take a look at Avila, the way he caught that ball and pulled it right back in the strike zone, and he was able to get this call for Jordan Zimmerman. Nice glove work by Alex.
6 strikeouts now for Zim. How about that strikeout call by Tom Hallion, the home plate umpire, man? He really winds it up. Here's Perez. He drives one to center right at Mikey. 2 gone. Time for a game break now. John Keating. All right, Keats, moment of silence up here in the booth for that glove as well.
It's amazing how much fun you can have when your record is 62-30.
Keating had me worried there a little bit. I thought, man, did somebody pass away we didn't hear about?
Right.
That solemn tone.
Yeah, he did kind of start it out that way, didn't he?
Come on, Keats. 0-1 on Mike Moustakas. Slapped out of play.
Wow. 16.5 game lead over the Seattle Mariners. They are running away with this thing.
You know, they are, but I always point back to
peaking too soon.
Yeah, not only that, but I mean, there have been cases in the past where large leads have evaporated. Not very often, obviously. There's a chopper hit to the first baseman. Miggy will make the play, and that's going to be a 1-2-3 inning. In this one, as we go to the top of the 7th inning. And the Tigers offense outstanding tonight, but so has been that guy right there, Jordan Zimmerman, who is throwing rod, I would say, one of his best outings of the year.
And he really is, and give him credit for that. I mean, he's throwing a lot of breaking balls. I think he finally has understood the fact that maybe he can't overpower guys with his fastball the way that he did for the first 8-9 years of his big league career in Washington, and now he's throwing more breaking balls, and so far today it's been a really nice recipe for success for Jordan Zimmerman. I know Brett Osmond likes it.
Well, here is Presley. He'll get his first at bats and taking over for J.D. Martinez, who left at the last half inning defensively, left the ball game, so we have heard nothing about why he left the game. But Presley took over. It took a while for Presley to go get his glove and get him out in the field. He'll be followed by Victor and then Mikey Matuk. The 0-1 pitch. One ball and one strike. That is Matt Rankin, the training staff of the Tigers. Don't know if JD was injured at all. Brad getting an update right now. There's Kevin Rand, who came in as well, the head athletic trainer. There's a drive to right field. It's going to get down, a base hit. Presley with a single.
So more than likely they are getting some kind of an update on J.D. Martinez, I would think.
Well, we just got it. Low back tightness.
Mm-hmm.
We'll bring up Victor Martinez. Martinez has been on base 3 times, 2 singles. Runs scored, 2 RBIs. Tigers now have 9 hits. Ripped to right, but foul.
And Victor Martinez already a couple of knocks here tonight. He scored a run. He's driven in one. And those were batting right-handed.
Way outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. The 2 RBIs tonight for Victor gives him 35 on the year. He's hit safely now in 8 of his last 9. His bat perking up a little bit. And there's another ball hit hard. That is a foul ball. It was barely foul.
Yeah, Phil Cuzzy all over it. He is the umpire down at first tonight. There's Phil.
Tiger box heavy at the top, and the bottom of the lineup doing some pretty good work too.
A big home run by Castellanos. Also big home run by Mikey Mata.
What's going on here? Is something happening in the Tiger dugout? They want to look at that. And yep, they're going to want to take another look. Yeah, I mean, it looked like that ball was awfully close. But as you mentioned, Phil Cuzzy had a really good look at it. They'll put the headsets on here. Tigers already up 7-0, looking for more here. We'll take another look at that drive by Victor. It's gonna be hard to tell here. Ooh, that looked like it might have been fair. All depends on the replays they have in New York. If they can find something more definitive. If they can't, the call will stand, which means they couldn't find enough to overturn it.
I got a question for you, not to complicate things though. Let's say it's overruled and it is a fair ball. Is it going to be a single or a double?
Well, that's something the umpires are going to have to decide based on where the ball went. Well, Victor running. I see where the complication comes in. That's got to be a double, don't you think?
I'm thinking you have to give him a double.
Well, they continue to look at it to see whether or not it's a moot point. Let's see. We're zooming in a little bit here. See where it hits. Man, I don't know.
Maybe not enough to overturn it.
Agreed. That's what I think eventually will be the case. Yeah, it's foul ball. Just was not conclusive enough, so the call will stand.
But not a bad challenge. I mean,
No.
You've got a 7-run spread. I mean, stranger things have happened. I mean, as far as the team coming back from a 7-run deficit. But if you're going to take a whack at challenging one, why not challenge that one?
They have tried this year to get all of these challenges decided within 2 minutes. That one fell within the 2-minute range, 1:43. High fly ball, center field, sending Kane back, still going back to the track. He's under it now. That's being carried out to the wall.
We've watched that with regularity tonight. Every ball in the air has traveled pretty far.
Hey, the Tigers battle the Astros on Saturday, July 29th at 6:10. The first 10,000 fans receive a free James McCann removable mask bobblehead. If you'd like tickets, go to Tigers.com or call 866-66-TIGER. We'll bring up Mikey Mata. Mikey, a 2-run homer back in the third. He'll dive low, 1-0. The home run that Mata hit cleared the seats and landed in the fountain in left field. has to be one of his longest home runs. The 1-0 pitch.
We've been coming here a long time, and very seldom have we seen a home run go to left and hit as far as the ball that Mikey Matuk hit here earlier in the game. As you mentioned, over those seats into the fountain out there.
Top of the strike zone, in there, 1-2.
That's a pretty good poke.
Oh, yeah, it is. Wow. That one missed. McCarthy wanted it. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Avila waiting on deck. Fouled away.
Now here's the Mikey Matuk home run. If you missed it earlier in the game, it was a fastball at 86. Cut fastball inside that, and Matuk pulled his hands inside, and you saw the splashdown. And Mikey was all smiles.
Tigers tonight have a couple of home runs. Castellanos hit the other. That was back in the second. Fouled away again. 2-2. It stays on Matuk. Tigers scored at least 1 in each of the first 4 innings tonight before they were finally shut down in the last 2. And Jordan Zimmerman has done the rest. Pulled foul. Matuk got a pretty good first year with Tampa, the team that the Tigers acquired him from. But then last year he was injured and kind of took a step back offensively. The Tigers, though, saw enough out of Matuk when they saw him first come up that they decided to acquire him in the offseason.
They also watched him play collegiately as well. He was a first rounder out of college.
High chop, going to be a tough play, and no play. Infield hit for Matuk.
That ball bounced right off the plate. Right off the plate.
2 on now, 1 out. Mikey, another hit.
And once it bounces off the plate, I mean, there's no play for Moustakas.
So the Tigers now have put up double-digit hits. They have 10 in this ball game. And here is Avila, who's chipped in with a couple of walks. And that's just what Alex does. In fact, he's taken over the team lead in base on balls. 42 of them now for Alex. Ground ball right side and off the glove of Hosmer. And Avila is safe at first base. They are loaded up.
That is a rare error by Eric Hosmer. This Kansas City Royals team, if they give him an error, they came in having committed the fewest errors in the majors, just 35. And that is the 3rd error of the year for Hosmer.
He had gone 123 straight games without an error from August of last year to July 3rd of this year.
And that particular error right there was just kind of a lackadaisical error committed by Hosmer.
So they are loaded up down. Here's a chance for Iglesias. Iggy backs away from ball 1 inside. Tigers trying to add to their 7-0 lead. We're in the top of the 7th. Presley got it started with a base hit. Mott took an infield single, and Avila reaching on the air. Fly ball in the air to center field. Kane is on the run again, still going back. Warning track to make the catch. Presley tags and scores. It'll be a sac fly and an RBI for Iglesias. 8-0 Tigers. I'm telling you, man, there is nothing routine about fly balls to center field tonight.
Not tonight. And Lorenzo Cain out in center field. Boy, he's had his track shoes on. He's walking out there like he's tired, too. Look at him. They've been running him all over center field tonight.
So a 2-outs here is Kinsler. Tigers add one more here in the 7th. They're up 8. And strike one on Ian. 2 triples, a double, but he knocked into a double play in his last at bat. Swing and a miss. 1-2 on Ian.
Pretty good changeup there thrown by McCarthy. He loves his changeup. He throws the changeup, and quite often, and not afraid to throw that pitch, obviously, to right-handed batters. Ooh,
man.
He froze in with that fastball. Where was it? Head Fox Track said it was a strike.
Yeah, at the very least borderline.
Ian better be swinging at this next one. Salvador Perez, he also felt like it was a strike. And I think Tom Hallion understands he missed one.
Chopped third foul. Tigers trying to win their 3rd straight game here tonight after dropping the first game out of the All-Star break. They have a 4-game series here in KC, and the Royals came in just 2 back of Cleveland. The Indians playing in San Fran tonight.
The Indians been on the West Coast for a week. They had 4 games in Oakland, and then they played 3 more.
Right back up the middle. Merrifield gets the force at second. Wow, what a play. Took a hit away from Kinsler. Tigers will get one more, though. They lead 8-0. And coming up, the Consumers Energy 7th inning stretch. And down in Miami, how about Giancarlo Stanton? Boom. This guy can hit him a long way. 441 feet.
Oh, that's nothing. Mikey Mccarthy went 445.
Stanton's not nearly as strong as Mikey is. 445 tonight for Moustakas, right? So he actually outdistanced Stanton this evening. Zim goes back to work as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning, and it's going to be Escobar to lead it off. He'll take a strike, 0-1. 8 runs on 10 Tigers hits, no runs, 6 hits for the Royals. Bottom 3, Escobar, Moss, Gordon. Down the right field line, Presley is on the move and up against the wall. It's out of play. Wow. 21 and 25 tonight, Rod.
It's pretty much been the difference in the game for him, because what he has done once he's gotten ahead, his breaking ball for me has been the best he's had all year. He's thrown it in every single count, ahead in the count, behind in the count, some up in the strike zone, some down in the strike zone. Great outing tonight turned in by Jordan Zimmerman.
Got him on the hand there. Looked like it might have been the hand or the wrist. That's the last thing the Royals want to see here. Zimmerman came too far inside and drilled him.
And that's the last thing that Jordan Zimmerman wanted to do, was to hit Escobar with an 0-2 pitch. Escobar is a gamer, though. It's going to take a lot to get him out of the game. It's going to have to be broken for him to leave. What did you say? He's played like 260-something consecutive games?
262 counting tonight.
That got him in the wrist, too. I mean, that hurt. Obviously.
He's coming out of the game. So we'll get a pinch runner at first base. Escobar hit by the pitch, and he is out of this game. Ramon Torres will come on a pinch run. Leadoff man on here for the Royals. Hey, look who's warming up for the Royals. Our old friend Al Albuquerque.
Everyday Al. Still wearing 6 deuce.
Still kicking around the big leagues in the Royals bullpen these days. Here's Brandon Moss. He fouled it back out of play, 0-1. Now with 1 strike on the hitter, Castellanos will run over to the other side of the field. Tigers employ the shift now against Moss. Strikeout, fly out for Moss.
Yeah, take one more look at the Escobar hit by pitch in super slow motion. It looked like he got him not necessarily on the wrist, but more so on the forearm, looked like.
A little closer to the forearm than the actual wrist.
And it actually looked like to me, and I wasn't sure when he was walking off with the trainer, it looked like it was already starting to form some swelling.
I couldn't tell if that was just his muscle or was the swelling. It looked like it had him on the wrist, but maybe not. 1-2 on Moss. Swing and a miss. He is dusted. Breaking ball. Finishes off Moss. 1 gone.
And the one thing also that Jordan has done today with the curveball, he's varied his swings and the delivery and also the speed of the pitch. That one at 82.
Seven in the strikeout column now for Jordan.
And the 7 strikeouts, they equal a season high for Jordan. He did that back against the Seattle Mariners in Seattle on the 20th of June.
Gordon, a single and a flyout tonight. Tigers jumped early on Vargas. They thought, well, based on what Vargas had done this year, it might be a tough opponent tonight, but they got a 1 in the first, 3 in the second. And then they eventually knocked him out in the third.
And we were kind of wondering which Vargas would show up here tonight.
Fly ball right field, Presley.
And the Vargas that came in 12-3 with an outstanding earned run average of 2.62, or the Vargas that was 3-4 with an ERA over 5 in his career against Tigers. That Vargas showed up today.
Yeah, it was kind of a clash of numbers because the Tigers also, as we had told you earlier, had put up good numbers versus lefties this year, and Vargas was no different despite his numbers. Here's Whit Merrifield. In the air to right field. That ball hit pretty good. Presley is on the run. He's not going to get it. It'll split the gap and go to the wall. This will get a run in, and Merrifield will pull into second. Torres scores, and the Royals are on the board. It's 8-1. And finally, the Royals fans had something to cheer about.
Merrifield probably has been their most consistent player this year. And not necessarily the home run power, but what he does on a nightly basis offensively and defensively. And he helps their team win a lot of games.
It's going to be it for Jordan. It'll be a wall-side windows pitching change. Tigers go to the bullpen here in the 7th, and we shall return.
Here tonight, not a lot of good swings against his fastball because that breaking ball was exceptional. He'd throw the breaking ball, he'd come back with the fastball, more soft contact, another breaking ball. Here comes another fastball, froze Escobar there, but it's been the breaking ball by and large, whether it be the curveball or the slider, that has been the go-to pitch today for Jordan Zimmerman. I love the fact that he didn't shake off Avila all that often here tonight, and Avila called an outstanding baseball game.
24 of 28 first pitch strikes and 6 2/3 one-run baseball, no walks, 7 punch-outs. And he'll give way now to Warwick Soppold, who comes in with 2 outs in the 7th. Jorge Bonifacio is the batter. Jammed and fouled it back, 0-1.
You know, one of the things that we talked about coming into the game today as we get a look at Warwick Soppold's last 11 outings, he's been tremendous. He's only given up 2 earned runs, walked 6, 5 strikeouts. The opponent's hitting 161 against Warwick.
Bonifacio is 1 for 3. Fouled away. Now the count 0-2. Bonifacio's infield single back in the 5th means he has reached now in 21 consecutive games. And now has an 8-game hitting streak as well. That'll miss low. You would hope this lead holds, and if it does, it'll be Zimmerman's first road victory since June 14th of last year. And it's been a long stretch and a long time coming for JZ to win a game on the road away from Comerica, but they're in command tonight.
He did a nice job keeping him off his fastball here tonight. He really did. You know, if you weren't with us earlier, we told you that on the first 2 pitches of any at-bat this year against Jordan Zimmerman, he had been getting ambushed by the opposition. The batting average was well over 400. But today, he kept guys off balance, and there was a lot of soft contact early in counts against Zimmerman simply by him mixing it up.
Here's the 2-2. Fouled back by Bonifacio. The Royals box. Everybody with a hit with the exception of Moss and Moustakas. Tigers 10 hits tonight, KC 7. That one came inside, hit Bonifacio. 2-hit Royals here in the 7th. So 2 men on now. Going to get a pinch hitter now. Billy Burns will come on and hit for Lorenzo Cain. Burns just called up today. He was down at Omaha batting .259. No power to speak of, but he can run. Second stint with the Royals this year for Burns. Here's ball 1 low.
He had an outstanding rookie campaign a couple of years ago playing for the Oakland Athletics, did Billy Burns, but the next year he kind of lost his job in spring training and therefore was traded to the Kansas City Royals. But this guy stole a lot of bases and had a really good rookie year.
Meanwhile, Soppold now has gone 2-0.
And Soppold does not walk many. He pitches to a tremendous amount of contact, does not strike out many.
Burns was 5th in the Rookie of the Year voting back in 2015 with the A's. Stole a bunch of bases that year, 26 of them. That's in there for a strike.
It's the kind of player that the Royals like to have on their roster, a guy that can really run. The Royals have several guys in their system that have great speed, and several guys on their major league team that have good speed.
Here's the 2-1. Nub toward third base. They're gonna let it roll, and it will go foul. That's a break there. Wasn't sure whether or not it was going to go foul.
It's a nice job by Soppold and also Castellanos, and knowing that they weren't going to get burned, so you may as well let it go and hope that it goes foul, and then you pick it up immediately when it crosses into foul territory.
Burns hit .294 for the A's that year. He finished 5th in the Rookie of the Year voting, which was won by the shortstop Correa. Ball high and away now, 3-2.
Yeah, Correa won the Rookie of the Year that year. He didn't even start the season in the big leagues.
No. Correa, Lindor, Sano, and Osuna were the top 4 in voting that season. Three-two on Burns. More action for the Tigers in their bullpen. Shane Green. He popped him up. Shallow center field. It's going to be who? And a sliding play in center by Matuk. Kinsler, Iglesias, and Matuk almost collided. Mikey with a sliding catch. And the Royals will settle for 1 run. 8-1 ball game now, and you're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire.
Bottom half of the 7th inning, Iglesias, Kinsler, and Matuk all verging on this pop-up off the bat of Burns. Neither called it. At the end of the day, it was Matuk that left his feet. Didn't want a collision, so he left his feet to make the nice grab before the ball hit the carpet. Nice play here. It appeared that Mikey Matuk might have called it at the last moment, and that's why you see both Ian Kinsler and Iglesias peel out of the way. Nicely done by the Tigers.
So only 1 run scored against Zimmerman in this game. His line is complete. And here come the Tigers now as we go to the 8th. They lead 8-1. It'll be Castellanos, Upton, and Miguel Cabrera. They're facing a former teammate, Al Albuquerque.
Albuquerque was pitching some pretty good baseball down in AAA for the Storm Chasers. He was 3 of 5 in save opportunities, and his earned run average was very low. Al's got that slider, and he throws that slider probably 75% of the time. He pitched well for stretches in the Tigers uniform.
Albuquerque is 31 years old now, out of San Pedro de Macorís. And he'll deliver a strike called. He was with the Tigers for parts of 5 years, beginning in 2011. Spent the 16 campaign with the Angels and now with the Royals. Here's a strike called.
Back-to-back fastballs to Castellanos at 93 miles an hour.
Changes for the Royals. Torres stays in the game. Escobar left after being hit by the pitch. And Drew Butera now is giving Salvador Perez the rest of the night off. And Burns stays in the game to play center field for Kane. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. He got Castellanos to go fishing on that slider. 1 away. We were recalling fondly of Al's days with the Tigers earlier in the clubhouse today. We were talking about some of the strangest endings to a game.
Yes, indeed.
You know where I'm going, don't you?
I do know where you're going.
Al had a walk-off balk in Cleveland a couple of years ago.
I do remember that. I forgot it was on third base, but he broke down the line real fast. He stepped off, got a little jittery.
And a balk was called, and the game was over.
Yeah.
First time and the only time I'd ever seen that.
How about the 2 wins that these 2 teams got yesterday? Both walk-off variety. And the Kansas City Royals, they won their game on a pop-up that was lost in the sun by Shin-Soo Choo of the Texas Rangers. And, of course, the Tigers had a walk-off base on balls issued to Miguel Cabrera. Strange.
Strange indeed. And both came in with a little bit of momentum, but the Tigers seized that momentum, and they scored a ton of runs early in this game. And they lead 8-1 as we play here in the 8th. Jay up rolls one foul. Cabrera waiting on deck. Upton walked and scored in the 4th. Otherwise, he is 0 for 3. To shallow center field. Burns on the run, diving and making a spectacular catch in center field for the Royals.
Well, Burns just got robbed of a bloop single when Mikey Montauk left his feet and made a really nice play that he and Iglesias and Kinsler were verging on. And Billy Burns says, well, if I'm not going to get any hits, then nobody's going to get any hits in center field. He comes in and he makes an outstanding play.
That'll give the hometown crowd something to cheer about.
They don't miss much in center field as far as the speed is concerned when Burns is in there and Kane is out. But Kane is a far better, superior defender. Just getting jumps, taking routes, making great plays. No disrespect to Burns.
1 ball, no strikes on Cabrera, who is hitless tonight, but he has a walk. There's a strike called. Miggy now batting .264. Off the end of the bat, right to the first baseman. Hosmer will handle it. And Cabrera's out. It's going to be a 1-2-3 inning. On to the bottom of the 8th. A part of Detroit and the community since 1849. Your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com. See why Chevy drives the Motor City. And by Wallside Windows. We can do that. We are the factory. Back here in KC, the Tigers leading by a score of 8-1 as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Warwick Suffold is back out there, and he'll deliver a ball outside to Eric Hosmer. It'll be Hosmer, and then Butera and Moustakas. Here's a ball inside and low. We're on the count 2-0 now.
Yeah, this is a tough count right here to be in against Eric Hosmer, 2-0. A guy that just loves to abuse fastballs. He has bad intentions when he's standing in the batter's box in this particular count. He won't get cheated.
No, he won't. There's the drive to right field, and it's going to go.
Ooh, I hate when I'm right.
Well, he cleared the bullpen on right field. Hosmer's 12th of the year, or 13th rather.
Yeah, he has bad intentions on counts like that, and he really hasn't been pulling the baseball all that much this year.
It'll make it an 8-2 ball game. And bring up Butera. First at bat of the ball game for Butera, who took over for Perez, entered the game defensively for Salvador. There's a strike on the inside corner. 13 now for Hosmer, 43 RBIs.
Has a 300 batting average to go along with those power numbers too.
See if this one finds the seats. Avila giving chase. He's out of room. Daniel Stump warming up. Bounce in well in front of Avila. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Neftali Feliz is in the bullpen for Kansas City. Another one of the former Tigers on their bullpen, or in their bullpen.
They have 3 of them: Soria, Albuquerque, and Feliz.
Here's the 1-2. It'll bounce in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Lowered away, 3-2. Leadoff homer by Hosmer. Royals got a run in the 7th on a double by Merrifield to put them on the board. They've added 1 more here in the 8th. The Tigers, though, still lead by 6. And the 3-2. And he walked in, ball 4. The first 2 reach here for the Royals in the 8th. That's going to be it for Suffold. Brad coming out of the dugout. Moustakas due up. They've got the lefty Stump. And Warwick will face a total of 4 batters. There's the call to the bullpen. So the Tigers will make another change. Wall side windows pitching change. And we'll be back.
And a couple of innings ago when J.D. Martinez left the game, Twitter was on fire with trade talk. Was J.D. traded? No, he was not. He was removed with lower back tightness as a precautionary measure. We'll talk to him inside the Tigers clubhouse on Tigers Live immediately after the game. Jordan Zimmerman in line to get his first road win in more than a year. We'll talk to him about his start tonight and a whole lot more from inside that Tiger clubhouse. That's on Tigers Live immediately following the game. But back up to Mario for now, guys.
All right, Trev, thank you. We look forward to that. Getting some inside information from J.D. Martinez after the game on his condition. In the meantime, Daniel Stumpf is taking over out of the Tigers bullpen.
And Stumpf checks in with an ERA approaching 4, sits at 3.75, 13 strikeouts, 7 walks in the 19 games he's appeared in this year.
Moustakas is 0 for 3 in the game, and he is behind in the count 0-2.
Moustakas batting .250 against left-handers this year with 7 of his 25 home runs.
Line drive right to the second baseman Kinsler. He hit a bullet right at him.
Tomahawked that bad boy.
One away. RBI Baseball 2017 is out now for Xbox One, PS4, iOS, and Android. Enjoy fast-paced pick-up-and-play MLB action packed with your favorite MLB teams, players, and ballparks. Learn more at RBIGame.com.
Now, which one of those do you have at the crib? You got the Xbox or you got the PlayStation 4?
You know, my kids have those.
PlayStation 4?
Yeah, I don't know what they have. I don't pay attention to that. I used to. But then they started beating me badly in all the games, and I just lost interest. I used to be able to beat them. Not so anymore. But to answer your question, I think Xbox?
Yeah.
I'll go with that.
Good call.
Yeah, they're at home right now going, oh,
flip a
coin.
Dad.
Here's the 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Stump takes over for Soppold. Torres getting his first at bat of the night. Sends a slow roller back up the middle. Iglesias might have had the force at second, but he gets the out at first base.
Ian Kinsler also gave Iglesias a look like we had the force out at second base after he took the sure out at first.
So with 2 away, here is Brandon Moss. 8-2. Tigers have the lead here in the 8th. Moss does not have a hit against the Tigers this year, 0 for 12. That last pitch bringing Avila out to the mound. Strikeout, flyout, strikeout for Moss, the number 8 hitter. The inning started with a home run by Hosmer. Now the 1-0. On Moss. Number 9 man Gordon waiting on deck. Tigers have led comfortably all night, but it just seems like Brad's not very comfortable right now.
Well, he's bought Stumpf in to go after these left-handers, and there's another lefty in the on-deck circle as well in Alex Gordon.
He'll take a 3-0 pitch outside, 4-pitch walk. Second walk in the inning for the Royals. That'll put 2 men on now, and we'll bring up Gordon, the number 9 hitter. single and 3 at bats, and Rich Doobie coming out to have a chat. Hey, calling all Eagles. Fox Sports Detroit University days are back Tuesday, July 25th. Purchase your tickets at tigers.com/EMU. Ticket package includes a limited edition hat. Don't miss Eastern Michigan University Day with the Tigers. Get your tickets today, coming up on Tuesday, July the 25th. Did Tiger fan keep the score?
Old school.
No, Stump goes back to work now as Gordon stands in. Trying to get that final out here in the 8th. And there's ball 1.
He continues to miss in the same spot to the last couple of left-handers. That fastball away. He might want to set up on the inner third of home plate on one pitch, see if he could locate that pitch a little bit better.
He got the benefit there.
He did.
That could have been 2-0. 6 balls, 6 strikes for Stump. Top of the order, Merrifield waiting on deck. And misses high and inside, 2-1. Royals trying to mount a comeback here with 2 of their starters having been taken out of the game because of the big spread. Perez resting the rest of the game, and Lorenzo Cain. Escobar left the game after being hit by a pitch. The 2-1. Good pitch, 2-2.
It was a good pitch because Alex called that. Stump having a difficult time locating the fastball, so you call for the field pitch, which was the slider, and he threw it right over the heart of the plate for strike 2.
Popped him up. Shallow left field, Upton coming in, and that'll retire the side. 1 run on the home run by Hosmer. We go to the 9th. All right, guys, thank you. As we go to the ninth inning, it is 8-2 in favor of the Tigers. We'll see if they can get any more here. They about hit him 10-8. And a new pitcher now, Neftali Feliz, coming out for the Royals.
And Feliz started the year pitching for the Milwaukee Brewers. In 36 games combined this year between the two teams, his earned run average is over 5, but he still throws hard. And Feliz still has an outstanding fastball, 95 and above. He was a former Rookie of the Year when he was playing for the Texas Rangers.
He beat out Austin Jackson that year.
He did.
Feliz, Jackson, and Danny Valencia was third that season.
Valencia had a pretty good year for the Twinkies that season.
You know who's fifth?
Fifth.
Brendan Bosch.
Big bad Brendan Bosch.
Your buddy from Santa Monica?
Yes, indeed.
That's down the line. Another knock for Presley. Let's see if it's for extra bases. He'll take the turn and go to second. And he's in with a double. So Presley didn't start this game. Came on for J.D. Martinez, who left with a sore lower back or back tightness. And he's got himself a single and a double.
Whoever took J.D. today ought to get the points today for Presley as well.
Doesn't work that way. Sorry to report. It'll bring in Victor Martinez. Tigers now have 11 hits on the board.
And a lot of the hits extra base variety here today. A couple of triples and a double by Kinsler. Home run by Castellanos. Home run by Mata. Double by Presley.
That's slapped into right field. Going to drop, base hit. Presley coming to third. They're going to send him home. And the throw is cut off. Relay to the plate, not in time. Single RBI for Martinez.
Outstanding job at third base by Dave Clark. And Presley wasn't sure whether that ball was going to be caught initially, but once that ball fell, Dave Clark aggressive with that left arm, making sure that Presley was able to come home and score. Nice day by Victor Martinez. Again, Presley wasn't sure, but once he started, and you see Dave Clark out of the corner of your eye here, and sending him home.
3 hits, 3 RBIs for Victor. There's Mikey Matuk. He's had a good night. Single, homer. It was a 2-run shot.
It's been a really productive day, pretty much up and down for the Tigers. A couple of guys didn't really swing the bat all that effective today, but by and large, and some really nice plate appearances tonight turned in by the boys. Here's Dave Clark on that particular play we were talking about. And he goes up to see once this ball falls. Now he knows Presley's running. He's like, you got to go. You got to go.
Two and one on Mikey Matuk. Again to right field, slicing. Bonifacio can't get there. Base hit. Martinez goes to second, and the Tigers start the ninth with 3 straight hits. Here is the upcoming matchup presented by Wallside Windows. Matt Boyd coming up from AAA to make the start tomorrow. Daniel Norris is going to make a rehab start tomorrow, and Travis Wood will go for the Royals.
Boyd pitching some pretty good baseball down in the minor leagues. Apparently he's gone down there and straightened out some things. And while he was here, and Boyd was 2-5 and 55 1/3, a 5.69 ERA.
Here is Avila. Couple of walks, a strikeout, and he also reached on an error tonight. Alex came into this game with an on-base percentage of .421, which was 6th best in the American League. And Feliz backed him out of there.
Boyd down in Toledo this year in 8 starts. And he's got a 3-3 record and a 2.82 ERA. And that's the reason why he's getting that start tomorrow, as Norris goes down there and makes the start.
Now the 1-1. Brad was asked before the game, is this just a one-time thing for Boyd? And he said, no, we'll see how it goes. And if he pitches well, he could stay in the rotation.
Mm-hmm.
Tigers lead 9-2 as they try and take game 1 in the series against the Royals. Here's the 2-1.
Good changeup there thrown by Feliz. 2-1. You know, Avila's looking for that mid-90s fastball, and he pulls the string on him and gets Avila to swing right over the top of that 88-mile-per-hour changeup. Feliz throws his changeup harder than their starter today. Jason Vargas throws his fastball.
Ground ball to first. Hosmer deep behind the bag, has only one play. Feliz will cover. Runners advance, one gone. It'll bring up Iglesias. Jose knocked in a run with a sac fly back in the 7th. Infield in, a couple of steps for the Royals. Ball 1 up and in. 96 from Feliz. Broke in with Texas. Did Feliz. Came to the Tigers in 2015. Appeared in 30 games out of the bullpen for the Tigers. That's popped up. Shallow center. Could be trouble. It's going to drop. Base hit. Another run scores as Martinez comes in, and it's an RBI for Iglesias.
The Royals down by 7 with runners on second and third. We're playing the infield in, and had they been playing back, that play gets made, but not from where they started from. Torres and Merrifield know where to go.
Seventh RBI for Iglesias, and the Tigers lead 10-2 now. That'll bring up the top of the order, Ian Kinsler. Infield backing up now, playing to pull on Kinsler, who cuts and misses. He bounced into a double play in the 5th, but has 2 triples and a double in this game.
He's already had a big day. He can add to that huge day here.
Good block there by Butera.
And second time in the last couple of games the Tigers have scored at least 10 runs. They scored 11 runs on Saturday against the Blue Jays.
Tigers Live postgame coming up after the telecast tonight. We'll get an update on J.D. Martinez, who left with some back tightness, precautionary measures, the Tigers said. 2 balls and 1 strike on Ian Kinsler. It's been a fist fight here for Feliz, who came in to start this inning. Double, single, single. 1 out later, a blue base hit. Three and one.
Ian Kinsler and Neftali Feliz, once teammates. And when both were playing for the Texas Rangers. Everything that he's thrown to Ian Kinsler has been away from him. Hasn't given anything to Kinsler on the inside part of the plate.
And Ian swings and misses. 3 and 2.
Ian shaking his head after that 3-1 fastball. Neftali threw right by him. Ian has been one of the tougher hitters to fan this year in the American League.
Castellanos waiting on deck. Tigers have added 2 more here in the 9th. And the 3-2. Bouncing ball to third. Moustakas. He'll go to second. There's one relay to first. Is a double play. 5-4-3. That'll end the inning. Tigers get 2 more runs. The bats have come alive here tonight in Kansas City. And they'll try and close things out in the bottom of the 9th. And last call now for the Royals. Tigers trying to close this one down. They've out-hit them tonight 14-8 and win game 1 in this road trip. We'll get another Tiger coming out of the bullpen. Jad Bell will make his first appearance of the second half.
And Bell pitching in his 12th game so far this year for the Tigers. He's logged 25 innings. The whip is 1.36. He's punched out 21 and walked 12.
10-2 lead for the Tigers. Top of the order coming up. Whit Merrifield leads it off for KC, and he looks at ball 1. Tigers have scored in 6 of the 9 innings tonight, and they've led really from the get-go. Merrifield looks at a ball low and away. 2-0 on Whit. Doubled in a run back in the 7th. Got the Royals on the board, their first run in the game. He's 1 for 4. Low ball 3. Tigers tonight have gone with Zimmerman, who started. He was fantastic this evening before Soppold came on to pick him up in the 7th. There's a strike called. Then Stumpf and now Bell. On the ground with the shortstop Iglesias. 2 steps to his right. Merrifield is out, 1 gone. And bring up Bonifacio. Game 2 tomorrow night. Tigers have a 4-gamer here. We mentioned the Tigers playing 10 straight against the Central Division. A 3-game series coming up in Minnesota. And boy, those Twins, they won again tonight.
Twins are rolling, man. They've got an outstanding road record. The Twins do. One of the best in all of baseball.
We'll see them at Target Field in a 3-game set this weekend. Twins beat the Yankees tonight.
Minnesota 26-17 away from their ballpark in Minneapolis.
Cleveland's lead in the Central was just a game and a half over Minnesota, so they're a game back now pending the outcome of the Tribe and San Francisco, and they're tied at 3 out on the West Coast.
Minneapolis not going anywhere.
Ball high, 2-1. And I thought by this time, Rod, to be honest with you, I thought they'd be done. Well, maybe not done, but not as close as they are.
Right. I agree with that 100%. I did not think that they would be able to hold on as long as they have held on.
Now, to be fair, nobody really has run away with the Central. I mean, the Indians came in just 4 over the 500 mark. And Minnesota now 2 over.
Tigers only 6 back. 5.5 after tonight.
3-1. Three and 2 now on Bonifacio.
Did you know that Ian Kinsler had only grounded into 1 double play this year in 287 at bats?
Ooh, he's got 2 of them tonight, doesn't he?
Yes, and he's my pick to stick.
Oh yeah. Because that's what it's all about for us. That's what it looks like in the Central. The Royals came in 2 games back. Foul straight back. So we got you 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, but he takes 4 away.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It was looking real good there for a minute. It's still looking pretty good. I'll take the 6.
Sure.
What do you got on that?
Well, there's, they're hoping their team can put together a big comeback here.
Or better yet, we put them on TV.
Yeah. That's probably the
which was what they got.
The aim. 3 and 2. Another big rip there by Bonifacio.
Bonifacio, not a bad player. I mean, you look at his rookie ranks. I mean, he's up in the top 5. Top 5 in just about every offensive category.
What is that?
That's Rod Allen.
Getting his sprints in, I know that. It's too hot to be running around and all that.
Man.
That's the truth. But Rod, sorry about your luck on those double plays with your man and pick the stick, but just wondering if you guys know how I did tonight with Castellanos. Can you guys give me an update?
He did pretty good, Trev.
Yeah, right. Hang on, Trev. Jeez. Single homer, 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs, but 2 strikeouts.
Uh-oh.
I'll take it. Better than 2 double play balls.
Oh, indeed. Nick's home run early was big. And Bonifacio takes one down low for ball 4.
Having said that, though, Rod, I am going to target Ian Kinsler for the walk-off interview tonight with those 2 triples and that double that he belted out today. Got the offense going, leading things off with that double to start the game. So he did have a great night, aside from the DPs.
He's a nice candidate for you to talk to tonight, Trev.
I thought so.
Ian got the ball rolling early in this game. He doubled in the very first inning. Then had the triples in each of the next 2. It's always nice when you can get some early runs, especially for Zimmerman, who had been struggling coming in, and Zim pretty much did the rest.
I think it allows Zim to relax a little bit after the Tigers scored those 4 runs in the first 2 frames.
Burns slices 1 foul out of play, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, but it was good to see Jordan pitch as effectively as he did here tonight. And Tigers are going to need to lean on him in the second half, along with Verlander, along with Fulmer and Sanchez.
Blaine Hardy loosening up in the Tigers pen. Burns fouls it back, 1 and 2.
He left as the Tigers got in that bullpen.
They got 4 of them.
Jeez. Ton of them.
Gibby and I were talking about that the other night. There aren't very many teams that carry 4 lefties.
No.
Tigers have Hardy, Bell, Stumpf, and Wilson. Justin, that is. Now the 1-2, and he missed 2-2.
And relievers having a difficult time of throwing strikes, whether it be Bell, whether it be Stumpf. And Sapo didn't have his great command here tonight.
Bell has not pitched, or had not pitched, since the 7th of July. Before the break, so this again is his first opportunity after the All-Star break.
It's been 4 walks in the last couple of frames. Zimmerman did not walk anybody while he was in there in his 6 2/3 innings, but 4 walks after he departed.
Two and two on Billy Burns. Ball 3. Full count now on Burns.
And Brad is going to start to get a little frustrated here. If these guys continue to not throw strikes. I mean, it's 10-2.
Right. I mean, the defenders have to be thinking the same thing. Here's the 3-2. He might have swung at ball 4 there.
I think he may have.
It's been a head scratcher, all the walks for the Tigers. The 10-walk game, the first game coming out of the All-Star break. And again, the 3-2. Another pitch that might have been out of the strike zone.
My first trip to Kansas City this year, but I just noticed they've got the net going across their dugout as well to protect those fans sitting over the dugout in the first couple of rows.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that.
I am a huge fan of that too.
Popped up. Kinsler going back, and Burns is finally disposed of. 2 gone.
Strangely enough, there are some fans that have those seats that don't necessarily like to have that netting that protects them.
Well, it looks like Brad's coming out to make a change.
He's going to take one lefty out, put the other lefty in.
So Bell will depart the scene, and Blaine Hardy is going to come in to try and get the final out here. We'll be back. 10-2. Tigers have the lead. Blaine Hardy comes in out of the Tigers pen trying to get the final out here as Hardy will face Hosmer, who homered in the 8th. Tigers lead 10-2. Runner going, and there will be no throw as Bonifacio will take second base.
Hosmer has some decent numbers against Blaine Hardy, and batting average .375 against Blaine.
Bell, as we mentioned, hadn't thrown in a while, and he threw a lot of pitches here in the 9th.
That may have been the reason why Brad took him out after 23 pitches.
He had a 9-pitch at bat to Burns and 9 to Bonifacio. Here are the numbers on Hardy. Lane trying to get the final out. Little chopper to the right side of the infield. Should do it. Kinsler will throw him out, and the Tigers take game one.
Yeah, nice win tonight. First game of a grueling 7-game road trip.
Now we're sitting into the Call Sam Studios. John Keating standing by with Tigers Live postgame.